Yo, welcome everybody to another live episode of Game Time here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am incredibly excited today. We got so much to talk about, so much going on, and all three of us are recovering from the Schmodown free agency show that just happened on the Schmodown Entertainment Network, which you can go back and watch after you're done with this show. Thanks so much for joining us live. I'm the Outlaw John Rocha, one of your hosts for the show, joined as always by two of my favorite co-hosts. To my immediate right, maybe, I think. Is that right?
Left.
No, left. To my immediate left. There it is.
On the screen, it's audience right, stage left.
Either way, the guy to my left, right over there, wearing a Chicago Bulls hat, thinking like he's got Detective Comics number 32. That is over there, Jay Washington. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm hoping I can make it through this whole show. I've been eating salad and vegetable bird nest all day. So what I'm saying is that my fiber content has been through the roof.
Yeah, I wonder if ESPN has issues like this sometimes with any of their guests when they come on. They'd
be like, "You gotta hurry do this, man. I got to hurry up."
Hurry up. And of course, his partner in crime over there at Blurred and Gold, that is the swaggy blurred himself, Winston Marcha. How are you, bro?
I mean, I'm sipping on a watermelon LaCroix, so I'm doing great.
LaCroix. And we got some fools up in here with us already. Corey Flemings, what's going on? Haskell 420, Chris Taylor, Tavishka Productions. Yeah, there we go. A lot of people talking already about what happened over there in the Schmodown, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about sports. We're going to review the last two episodes of The Last Dance that aired last night on ESPN. We're going to talk about some MLB, some NBA openings. We're getting closer and closer, apparently, to a truncated season, or the NBA itself coming back and just going straight into the playoffs. A lot of stuff in motion. So we're talking about all of that. Was that
playoffs?
Yeah, playoffs. We're talking about playoffs, and then we're gonna. I think we're gonna get into some Zion Williams and stuff, and we're gonna see if there's enough time. We're gonna bring you all in, ask some questions, and maybe even talk about that Brett Favre story. Do you believe him that he didn't know he was getting 1.1 million? Listen, if I have an extra $200 in my bank account, I notice I can't imagine having an extra 1.1 million. Come on, already.
Yes, you can. If you're Brett Favre, you know why? Favre doesn't spend his money.
Well, yeah.
Favre is no. I mean,
that's why he wears the Wranglers. Yeah,
it's literally been known that Favre does not spend his money. Like everybody was like, Favre still has damn near all of the football money he's ever made.
Wow,
so money just pops up in his account, and his accountants are taking care of it. He's not gonna notice.
So I don't know why they didn't put him in broke and try and teach all these dumb motherfuckers on how to hold on to their money.
But yeah, this is true.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe he's got a second career. He do something over there. But anyway, we're gonna get to all of it. But first, let's start there. Let's start with The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, with the Bulls from 97, 98, right there, Jay.
That's the year. This is the year we saw. This is the Sonics year right here, baby.
97, 98. This is another two great episodes of this documentary. Of course, we know most of what happened here. For the broad brushstrokes, and maybe those of you who are really hardcore Bulls watchers know the specific stuff, but there was still some revelations last night. We'll talk about all of it. Let's start with you, Jay, as the resident Chicago Bulls fan for quite some time. What was your impression of these last two episodes? By the way, the penultimate episodes, right? Because penultimate weekend, because next weekend is the last two. So talk to me. Yeah, talk to me about your feeling on 7 and 8.
These were the most emotional episodes throughout the entire documentary that we've gotten. You, for lack of better words, you've humanized Michael Jordan in these, and not to mention the story surrounding his father's death. Mm-hmm. And I also liked how you had the back and forth about the conspiracy theory of how and why his dad died.
Yeah.
That to this day has still been a thing on top of his father's death and his leaving the league for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Was he really suspended for gambling? Did he just up jump and leave? And for Jordan himself to address that, and him having Reinsdorf address it, David Stern address it, all these different entities who needed to address it, it hopefully should put some of these things to rest. Now, granted, because of what's come out with Michael Jordan's gambling, for those who didn't know, now all of a sudden it's a brand new thing for everybody. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to have so many people on this conspiracy theory train of, well, Michael Jordan's gambling got his dad killed. Like, yo, let that man rest in peace.
Yeah.
It's been 24 years. Let it go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I do agree, seeing him more emotional and more humanized being Jordan, because we talk about the they talk about, I'm trying to use the right word to use, the tyrant that is Mike. You know what I'm saying? But to know that, I don't know why anybody would say that's a tyrant, but again, I keep forgetting, when we're talking pro sports, you have divas. Yeah. Most of these dudes are divas, and so they just want to play the game and play a little hard, but they don't want you to tell them how to play hard. They don't want you to push them. They don't want you to. They want to motivate themselves. And Jordan wasn't that dude. Like
he wasn't about that life. Yeah,
no, he wasn't about that life. He was like, "Yo, if this how you feel, get the fuck on gone. I've won championships. I know what it takes, so I'm gonna push you to be that. Of course, I know you're not gonna be me, but I'm gonna push you to be the best version of you can be."
Yeah, not everyone can take that. Winston, you look at this thing, there was the coverage of the tyrant situation with Jordan, but by the same token, we got Jordan getting emotional. That was pretty shocking. If that was authentic or if that was just, done for the moment, who knows? But it certainly felt like you got a window into how much emotion it takes to win, and it took for him to. Because this is a man, by the way, this is Michael Jordan in his 60s. Let's put that on the table now. This is Michael Jordan in his 60s, so maybe reflecting back a little bit on some of the stuff he's done, and still feels like he's not appreciated. No matter how much he's done, he's seen as a tyrant rather than beloved, like that "Be Like Mike" campaign that he was a part of. What do you think, Winston?
There was a couple of things here that I thought that were super interesting. When you talk specifically about Michael being emotional, I think the first thing that people have to remember, there was a lot of talk on Twitter throughout the documentary that Michael Jordan isn't human. He's a god. Well, that's the thing. He's fucking human.
Yeah.
And so he may be closer to God than most in the things that he was doing. Sure, if you want to go that route, but this is a reminder that even the hardest of us, even the most chisel and cut and all that kind of stuff, they're not devoid of emotion. And Jay and I had a long talk yesterday about this last night. I really appreciate it from the standpoint that there is still a lot of stigma in the Black community and the Latin community of this machismo, of this, you can't show weakness, you can't show emotion, you can't whatever. I think it's important for two reasons. One, you saw when you're kind of in the prime of war, things like that, it was, Father's Day game. He's not worried about the glove. What he's worried about is he's thinking about his dad. That's where his mind's at. So he handled his business, and the minute he got off the court, it all came out, which I think is completely acceptable to do. I think in the same vein, at the end of that episode, you had him breaking down both of the episodes. The end of 8, they showed him at the end of the Father's Day game, but the end of 7, how those words actually got to him, and that's the thing. We love to say sticks and stones, shit like that. People's words aren't going to affect us and shit, but he is a human being. He likes to be liked by people. He likes to have friends and family, and people, if they're out here calling him a monster, that eventually gets to somebody. And it was nice to see him be like, yo, that shit fucking hurts. I just wanted to make everybody better. I just wanted to win. And that's what I was doing. Because he even spoke on how he came back from retirement. These cats acting like they won the chip. They didn't win no chip.
That's a great point.
They were riding his coattails from what they did over the past 3 years. So that's all it was. And I loved seeing it because it took us out of the mythos of Michael Jordan and made it a human mythos, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I really enjoyed the fact that you got to see a little bit of a window into the humanity of Jordan myself. I thought it was authentic. It kind of broke me a little bit. I got emotional a little bit watching him get emotional because when you see a stone break, that is kind of something to marvel at because he's just, throughout the whole documentary up until this episode, he'd been laughing, busting balls, giving his honest feelings about it with completely unfiltered, it's laughing at Isaiah, stuff like that. You saw the tough Jordan and you saw the kind of the disciplinarian Jordan as well come out in some of these responses. That was the first time that you saw a little bit of a window into Jordan, the human Jordan, and what it takes for him and how much he had to take on and sacrifice about himself, about his game, so that others could flourish, and that was kind of really important. And Scottie Pippen took over that 1 year. Everyone talks about Scottie, how great Scottie was. Guess what? They got knocked out of the playoffs. They didn't win a title. So that holding hands stuff is great. The kumbaya stuff is great to get you to a certain level. Jordan is the one that pushed you to the next level, and that's a championship. Scottie couldn't do that. by himself when he was there for the year and a half with the Bulls. So you want to talk all this stuff about Jordan, you want to criticize him, but in the end result, 6 titles, never lost in the finals. That tells you that, and elevated everybody else around him. And if you couldn't get with the program, you were out. You got to break some eggs. Jay, go ahead.
I just want to make a lot of y'all mad real quick on the internet because I know this is going to. You notice he just said Michael Jordan went to the final 6 times and never lost.
Yeah.
There's a saying going around the internet right now. It's a funny little meme. It's for the fellas because this is mainly a fellas debate.
Yeah.
If I go to a girl's house 6 times and she lets me smash 6 times, which is better when you go to a girl's house 9 times and she only lets you smash 3 times? Hello.
Oh no. Now now I'm in trouble. Damn it. Winston,
no, because it's the analogy of
I get
it. Going to the final, but nonetheless, it does.
I don't think it's a conversation. I don't think it's a conversation at all. No one will be better than Jordan. No one. I don't give a crap.
And I know people all use the argument of the league
ridiculous.
has changed. And people do the league has changed, which it does. The league is always going to evolve as long as there is a league. That is a given. That is an inevitable. But then you look at what a player is done when we elevate a player to the level of greatest of all time of this sport. You got to look, anybody that's going to be compared to that level has to be able to match up to those standards. And you can say LeBron's point scoring. LeBron came in the league at 18.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at Jordan, and I go back to, you look at somebody who's done all this, who knows what it takes. He's been beaten and battered before anything else too. And I think that was one thing a lot of people did not realize and never paid attention to until this documentary. They even re-show you all of the abuse he has taken to get to the point where he is. So yes, if he's going to be pushing his teammates hard, it's because I know what it takes. I've gone through hell and back. For the most part, a lot of y'all have an easy ride because you're coming off, like you said, the coattails of what has been done. Yeah. So I think people need to have a better understanding of who Jordan is, and not even need to. They should now have a better understanding.
I think it would be fun to put that montage to that song from Rocky IV. No Easy Way Out. If you do an entire montage of Jordan, the shit he took and the hits he took and the pain and the suffering, the loss of his dad, everything, that's the No Easy Way Out montage. Because they were doing it almost like it was a flashbacking thing. And it ended with Jordan, crying or getting emotional at the end and saying break when he stepped away from the situation. That was powerful. We should address something else you brought up, Jay and Winston. Let me get your thoughts on this. Were you surprised that they went head on into this conspiracy about his gambling and this conspiracy that Stern had approved him going to MLB and covered it up by saying it was Jordan going to the Major League Baseball and he didn't, and he had suspended him behind the scenes, but Jordan took that suspension, and said, "Oh, I'm going to go play baseball." Were you surprised that they finally addressed it and gave it air and then completely squashed it?
No, I think that Jordan made the decision, if he was going to do this documentary, that they were going to talk about everything. Yeah, that was a very prevalent point. I mean, he hasn't hidden any of the gambling stuff in the rest of this documentary. He's been very forthwith. As a matter of fact, the only thing he's hidden is.
Here we go again. Yeah.
Did I go away for a second?
Just for a second. So repeat that last couple of words.
All I said was the only thing they've hidden on this documentary was what was in Dennis Rodman's room when he went to pick him up. That's it. That's the only thing that's been hidden. Everything else has been out in the open.
I mean, you noticed that too, because Mike talked about the team.
He goes, I walked in and out. I'm not going to say what I saw, but I was just like, hey man, it's time to go back.
The whole team in the 80s was like, yo, who was the traveling cocaine circus? But now you ain't going to say what's in Dennis's room.
And that's because, and I respect him for that. He was like, that was Dennis's business. I'm not going to do all that. Like, whatever. So there's a couple things here. I think one, just to address what Jay was saying about LeBron, I think where it currently stands, no, LeBron cannot pass Michael Jordan. The only way I could see that happening at this point, if he won 2 more back-to-back chips and now he's out of the East, because a lot of people are saying the only reason he went to 9 is because the East has been very weak for years, with the exception of one other team typically. Mm-hmm. If he comes in the West and he genuinely not only makes it 2 more finals, but he wins 2 more finals, the conversation's alive again. Where it stands, you're at like 1% success rate. It's not going to happen right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the last thing, as far as the gambling goes, like you're going to see that in one or two ways. I mean, the first is it is like a big topic. It is something that people speculated on. There's conspiracy theorists all over the place, so they're going to throw that out there. The other thing is, without like trying to go full like Black Panther in this bitch, no one necessarily likes to see a black man just be the ultimate success, whatever the fuck. If they can find something to chip a motherfucker down, they're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that was the thing. You couldn't attack Michael on anything else. You couldn't attack him on the court. You couldn't attack him in shit talking. You couldn't attack him with your business. He'll put an American flag over your fucking logo. So like the only way you can get him is like, well, we heard he'd be gambling a shit ton. Probably killed his dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Jim.
I gotta pee. I'll be right back. I've been drinking water. I've been drinking water non-straight for the past 45 minutes.
All right, man. All right, come on down. I like how he preps for the show by putting fiber in his body and drinking a lot of water. There's the professional that is Jay Washington.
The funniest part is when you sent the message being like, "Hey y'all, I'll be in the room probably about like 5-10 minutes before the show." He's just sitting in his room. He could have peed, taken a shit because of the fiber, whatever it is. Nah. Right.
That's Jay Washington for you. And I'm not trying to tear another black man down. I just wanted to prepare to be on the show. All right. He sent the message too. I got to pee. All right. Well, anyway, let me ask you this next thing, and we'll fill the time until Jay comes back. Were you surprised about? I didn't know this, that Reinsdorf was paying Jordan his basketball salary while he was playing for the White Sox, who Reinsdorf owned as well. $3 million to play in the minor leagues. That's unheard of. Were you surprised by that, or did you know that?
Well, I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised because in the same way that you see people all the time, they become famous for something, they automatically get a pass to other bullshit. So like the fact that somebody is on the Jersey Shore, that all of a sudden it's like, yeah, they get an appearance fee of like whatever, even though it has nothing to do with the other. Go ahead. You're gonna
switch out. Yeah. Hold on. Boom. All right, go ahead.
It's the same thing. It's like people get passes like that all the time. The fact that Gronk just automatically got put into wrestling, for example,
right?
That's purely because he was a star tight end for the Patriots, like Hall of Famer, like Super Bowl champion. There's nothing.
Has a best friend. He also has a best friend who wrestles for the company.
Yeah,
but that's fine too. That has something to do with it. But I guarantee you, even with the best friend, because I bet you that dude that wrestles for the company has other friends that are maybe interested in wrestling. It's because he's Gronk.
Oh
so it's the same thing with Michael. Michael gets paid $3 million on a minor league team because he's Michael fucking Jordan. So that's the only reason.
It was pretty shocking. What did you think about that, Jay? Did you know that he was getting paid the $3 million per season to go play minor league baseball?
It was rumored. It was never.
Oh, okay.
It was rumored. It was like, it was rumored that Michael's getting a couple of $1 million. But like Winston said, it's Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And they even said it, whether he was playing or not, people were flocking to get a glimpse of him.
Yeah.
People are on the ground trying to look under the tarp at the bottom of the fence just to see Michael. Now, if you don't have to imagine trying to get in the stadium, of course, Michael is bringing in revenue that you've never brought in before. And then if it goes to the other guys on the team, I kind of understand where it's like, I'm busting my ass trying to get to the majors. And here comes this god of another sport who comes in, and it's like he comes in and he takes away all of the flame and the thunder. And so it really speaks a lot to it.
Yeah.
Well, they even said that part of it too is that the only reason he even moved as quickly as he did up to Double A is because he was Michael Jordan. They could not provide the proper stuff for the press to show up at a lower minor league level. So they had to bump him immediately up to Double A just so that they could accommodate all the press. So like. Yes, this was completely skewed, and that's why I appreciate. And I think the best part of Space Jam, honestly, is not even that there's the montage where the Looney Tunes start coming back. That is, but then immediately after that is Jordan playing baseball and how that shit played the fuck out. The fact that the dude is like, he's gonna throw a slider. Don't swing. Don't swing. Like that's hilarious. I mean, can you sign something for my son? Like what?
He's almost like Joe Boo. Like Joe Boo couldn't hit the breaking ball in Major League. He could hit those fastballs, but then Jordan adjusted, and that was really interesting too, because you had those writers that were crapping on him, and they interviewed that Sports Illustrated writer who wrote that terrible piece about. I don't mean terrible in terms of quality or content. I mean terrible in terms of like criticism of Jordan as a player. But then Jordan adjusted, and he got better. And Terry Francona, who should know know a thing or two about World Series championships and great ball players, he was his manager down there in the minor leagues. And he said if Jordan had gotten 1,500 at-bats total, I think he'd have made the major leagues. Quite a number of people. I mean, he said by the end, he drove in like 50 runs. It was hitting around 300. So you got to give props that Jordan is a freak of an athlete who figured the game out because he played in high school. It wasn't like some kid just deciding to play. You know what I'm saying?
It's not even just that. It's a testament to his work ethic.
Yes.
Whatever he lacked on, we saw it throughout we've seen it, throughout the documentary. Yeah. Any place he lacked on, whether it be in a certain level of his game, his physicality, fitness, during the off season, he picked it up. So granted, he didn't get a chance to have a full off season while playing the minors. Once he realized, they figured out how to get me with this breaking ball. They were saying Jordan was going after the game to work.
Agreed.
And to me, I think the thing that's even more impressive about that is he comes off of that. He's trying to get back in the league, so he has to get back in shape. So they ask him to do Space Jam, and he goes, "Yeah, no, I'll do it, but y'all gonna have to figure out how I can get this workout in." And not only do they have a full gym book for him, so he's out here like just like crossing over dudes in full green screen, which was cool to see actually. Yeah. But then he turns around and goes, "All right, any of y'all niggas want to run it back? Let's go." And all of a sudden, here comes Reggie Miller, and here comes Patrick Ewing, and here's
Juwan Howard and everybody.
Yeah,
and they're like, and it was probably more again because there ain't no ticky tack fouls. It's everybody's calling their own shit. So like, and the fact that Reggie was like, "Yo, I don't get it," because he would film all day.
Yeah.
Then he would come and play like 2 to 4 hours of ball with us. He would still have to weight lift. And so that puts him done at like 11 o'clock at night, 12 at night. And then he has to be back on set at 6 a.m. Like, I don't know where he was getting this energy from. And again, like you said, Jay, that speaks to his work ethic. It's insane. The dude is on another level.
Well, also physically, right? You can have all the work ethic in the world. You also have to have the physical tools and the physical capability. So Jordan had that too. Jordan only probably needed 5 to 6 hours of sleep at night at that time. Now he probably gets 9 to 10. But at that time, 5 to 6 is all he needed.
He's 67 years old. Of course, he gets 9 to 10 hours of sleep.
Well, he's eating his fiber, I'm sure. That's for sure.
I mean, the other thing about it too, and you're right about that, Rocha. It's not just the physical gifts; it's also the means. So it's the fact that he had a full gym, both basketball and weightlifting, all on the set. So he's not having to like commute across town to go do shit. Right. I'm sure he has whatever nutrition. I'm saying that in the sense that the same way that Camille Namaji said about getting in shape for Immortals, he goes, "I only did this because." Sorry, the Eternals. Sorry, the Immortals TV show that's bad. Friend was in it. Eternals coming out. Long story short, him saying, "I have the biggest company in the world, the biggest film studio, paid for all of this and set it up for me, so I'm good." It's the same thing with Michael. Michael had the gym and all the means in front of him, on top of the work ethic and the physical ability. You put all three of those together, of course, he's going to do shit that doesn't sound human.
And
also, you got to remember, when we're talking about stars, like you just brought up Camille, anytime you have the star of a production, the studio, and all three of us as actors know this, the studio is going to do whatever it takes to make sure you are comfortable throughout the time you are filming. It seems like it's a lot for Jordan because of what we saw, right? But in all actuality, we see this all the time. It happens all the time. Whatever you need is going to, especially if you're not home. It's a different, when you have a lot of these celebrities come do movies, everyone doesn't live in Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
So they're going to make sure you have the access to do what you want. And somebody, Mike was like, so what I want to do is, if I'm going to do this basketball movie, I want to do this basketball real life thing. And matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to need y'all to go ahead and throw me some flight vouchers, because I got some peoples that need to come out. And they're like, "What type of flight vouchers?" Like, maybe just business class. Who coming out? Half of the future NBA All-Star team about to come out. And just, matter of fact, they all gonna need security clearance to get through the Warner Brothers lot. Wait, what do you mean? How many gonna need? It's gonna be a lot of weird ass cars that ain't owned by executives. Okay, Patrick Ewing gonna come in here in a 4x4. Like, what are y'all talking?
Well, just to real quick, some of the chat guys are calling me out here. He didn't hit 300. Sorry about that.
It was 202.
He hit 202, but his on-base percentage was 289. His slugging percentage was 266. His OPS was 556 in 127 games. He did drive in 51 runs. Yes, 51 runs. So, I mean, you could argue, I guess, about it. Okay, yeah, it's close to 300. That's fine. But still, the Oakland A's, this is according to David Falk, the Oakland A's had reached out to the White Sox and said, if you aren't going to move him up, we are ready to give him a major league contract to play for the Oakland A's at the major league level. They were that impressed by Jordan's ability to pick up the game that quickly, and also, of course, star power and attraction, and to bring Jordan over to the Oakland A's. So I think if he had stayed, and if he'd wanted to stay, the possibility was there. We'll never know because the baseball strike pretty much ended any possibility of that. But it would have been interesting to see what would have happened if Jordan had stuck around. Because if he had gone to a World Series and won a World Series and 6 freaking or 3 NBA championships at that time, that's phenomenal. And it's never been done. That would automatically make him the greatest.
Then you're starting to put him in the conversation with like Bo Jackson, who like
and Deion Sanders. Yeah.
Well, not even those guys because they didn't.
No. I understand that. I get that, but like that's not true. If I don't remember correctly, Bo was hella fucking close, wasn't he?
I don't think so. No,
I thought he was in an AL. I thought he was in an ALCS
with the Royals or something like that.
Royals,
yeah.
You guys keep talking. I'll take a look.
I think Bo was almost there. If I'm not mistaken,
I haven't watched you don't know Bo in a long time, but are all about. But what was the name of his 30 for 30? Was it You Don't Know Bo or All About Bo? Something like that.
I think it was All About Bo, or You Don't Know Bo. I think it was You Don't Know Bo. You're right.
Which was based off the commercial. That sounds about right. But no, I mean, so that's the whole thing. Is that like I think I'm actually glad everything played out the way that it did because let's be honest here, he probably would have been a good baseball player. He would have never been anywhere near the stature that he was as a basketball player.
Right.
And so I think this, obviously, you don't have a last dance to talk about if this doesn't happen. But if you just think about that alternate reality, this puts Jordan more in that conversation of like an actual legend versus just some dude that came in and wrecked shot.
Yeah. Well, I don't see anything that says Bo Jackson went anything.
Somebody is saying, More Skittle says in the chat that it was Deion Sanders
with the Reds. Oh, okay, he played with the Reds in the World Series. Yeah, they didn't win it, So I mean, I don't think they won it that year. So yeah, You Don't Know Bo. That's the one. So it's just pretty incredible. So let's move on to another topic in this, and that is let's talk about the Scottie Pippen situation. This was interesting too. A lot of people said if this had happened while Scottie was like, if this happened in 2020, they'd have eviscerated him on Twitter and social media. Scottie, that 1 year that Jordan took off, with a year and a half, that Jordan went, was it 94 or something like that?
Yeah, the year.
When Scottie sat out.
Yeah, when Scottie sat out in a playoff game against the Knicks and did not come in for that last second shot against the Knicks, which Tony Kukoc nailed, by the way. And kudos to the documentarian people for finding all that evidence that Kukoc had every right to take that last shot that year, even though he was a rookie, because he'd hit a bunch of game-winning shots that season for the Bulls as a rookie for the NBA. So, like, Scottie being the consummate teammate, was upset about it. You can see Bill Cartwright talking to him on the bench about it, and then we hear about it later that Scottie and Bill Cartwright, with tears in his eyes, crying, said he was so hurt by what Scottie did by quitting on the team, and Scottie apparently got emotional as well and apologized to everybody. But he did say, they asked him, "Would you do it again?" And he said, "I wouldn't change a thing. He'd do it again. He would sit out again," which I thought was really interesting. Guys, what did you think of this?
I thought that my argument that the closest comparison to Scottie in the current landscape of the league is Kevin Durant, except Kevin Durant is a better scorer than Pippen. Pippen obviously did all the shit that he did. He's more of a facilitator, right? But I would make the argument exactly that Scottie and Kevin Durant are the same in that regard. I mean, I guarantee you, if Scottie had been in the social media era, he would have invented the whole burner account syndrome where he's out here being like, "You ain't gonna talk about Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen out here killing it."
Scotty on his Instagram.
Scotty on his Instagram, like, he is the greatest forward anybody has ever seen, and you will never talk shit about Scottie Pippen.
Let me say this. First of all, I wholeheartedly agree with Winston on that one. Scotty would have had 8 murder accounts.
Probably.
Tweeting from multiple computers, like, y'all not paying attention.
And the funny thing is, half of them will be women and half of them will be dudes. Dudes be like, he's a god, and the women be like, yeah, he fucks good too.
Scotty fuck with that deep voice, like it'll be just everything about Scotty.
Can you imagine calling a play not for LeBron James or calling a play not for Kevin Durant in that moment?
Well, but see, that's the whole thing, though.
But that's what that's a good coach at that moment.
Phil, but Scotty felt disrespected. Yeah, go ahead.
So then that's where you take it into this consideration. I know I just compared him to Kevin Durant, but that's more about how he's in his feelings. Yeah. I would then go further and say, obviously, he's a lot bigger and he scores more, but it's closer to like a Steve Nash or a Chris Paul. Yes, I'm not giving them the ball if on the team at the time I've got, Stoudemire who can get it down in the post done or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? If I've got a Curry, you need, to hit the 3, shit like that, then you know what I'm saying? Like those are different scenarios that coach made that's the right call by Phil. This is not a good, I love you. You are the star. You are the leader of this team. This dude is going to be a little bit better about hitting that final game buzzer.
Well, yeah,
I think what it is.
So go ahead. I'm sorry, Jay.
I'm sorry. My apologies. I think what it is too, Scotty has lived as the number 2 to Michael Jordan for so long, where every game that had to count, it came down to Mike hitting that shot. Yeah. Well, now Scotty is this dude. But it had even been shown and said, Scotty, you're a better facilitator at the end of the day, bro. Yeah. Like, for him to say, yeah, I'd do it again. I wouldn't change nothing. Like, yo, first of all, that's a whole bitch move. That's the biggest bitch move, more than what LeBron did when he sat at the other end of the bench when the Lakers were losing. That's a bitch move. I don't care who you are. If you're going to look, if your coach who has already led you to 3 titles back to back to back, he has proven he knows what he is doing. He has shown that his triangle offense now works in a new scenario without Michael Jordan. So why are you not trusting him to make this last second play that is going to matter? Because here's the problem. If you're Scottie Pippen and you say design the play for me. All right, bet. Hypothetically, you miss it. Yeah. Then what? Now you, instead of going from being the savior, you're the you know what I'm saying, you're the goat behind it. You know what I'm saying? You're the scapegoat behind it. Now everybody looks at you and like, you disgust me. You're not Jordan. Then you start hearing all that. Then you get upset. So why not alleviate yourself of that situation, of that potential pressure, which was done when it was designed by Phil. You didn't have to have that pressure on you. Right. If Tony Kukoc misses, it's on Kukoc and Phil. If Scottie Pippen misses, it's on Scotty.
Well, let me ask you guys something. I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up just a second, Winston. But as 2 black men, though, if you're on the team and he's handing the game-winning shot to a white man, does that bother you in that moment? Like, you've been leading the team, you've been picking the pieces up after Jordan left, you have been the alpha dog on this team. So, and that kid's a rookie, a white boy rookie out of Europe. Do you take that as a slight in that moment?
It depends. So the sport that I would say I played the most of, because the only thing I was good for in basketball was I was taller than everybody early on. So boards and free throws. That's it. So let's just not talk about that. But I play a lot of dodgeball, right? There are situations where you have to make that game call of well, what are we going to do right now? Are we going to put in someone who's going to be a great catcher? Are we going to put in somebody who's going to throw super heat and get somebody out? Are we going to put someone in that's going to kill the clock? Right. It's a decision. So I know what I'm best at doing, honestly, is countering people and playing defense. If I need someone to go and kill, I'm going to go give the ball to the dude that can drill anybody at any point in time. Right. So for me, that's a team player shit where I know what's best for the team. I want to fucking win. Yeah. So it just depends. If there is an element of I'm not giving this to you, black man, because the white man's got this covered, that's a completely different story. But we don't got to do well. That's not what Phil is thinking.
No, of course not. But I'm saying, is Scotty thinking that in that moment?
Why did Winston go to 1940s NBA? Look here, darky, you don't get this last shot.
Look, man, all I'm saying is I'll tell you where it really comes from. Part of it is he's been living in Jordan's shadow.
Right.
But the other part,
Can you do me a favor and remove Lucas Burgos
no
from the chat?
For that
bullshit he just said.
Let the chat kill him. Go ahead.
That's fine. But then the he's got Laker colors. That's why he's so upset. Yeah. So then the other part of it is, remember, we watched a few other episodes that Pippen and Jordan hated on Kukoc, right?
Yeah.
The funny thing about that
good point.
Yeah, is that as we've kind of talked about, Scotty, we've argued, some people want to say number one, top 3 best small forward to ever play the game, right?
Right.
And part of Hall of Famer, all this shit, but we've kind of got at the point that like Scotty could be a little soft. Yeah, Scotty don't always kind of push it up. So I also think that this was a thing where him and his boy, like the main bully, leaves, right? And so now he's the new bully of the school, but nobody really respects his ass the way they respected the whole bully. So then when he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna beat your ass," and they're like, "Argue, bitch."
Why you doing that soft ass voice though? What type of? I'm gonna beat your ass.
Remember,
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I swear to God, when you come into my school, I'm gonna fuck your ankles up.
Bro, I've been watching old Power Rangers. Bulk and Skull, right? Bulk is like, "Yo, Kukoc, we gonna beat your ass," and then Skull's like, "Ah, yeah, we're gonna beat your ass." Bulk is gone now. Skull, ain't nobody respecting Skull. That's exactly what's happening right now. Ain't nobody respect.
Ladies and gentlemen, can y'all please reach out to your local Netflix affiliate and tell them to take away Winston's account because that's how he is still. He's just sitting up watching nothing. But like he did a story on it that he was watching Power Rangers. Like the man is really need to get himself together. I don't think y'all understand. Rocha, do you not understand what is happening here? We have gone from basketball analogies with regular humans or even regular movie characters to Bulk and fucking Skull. Okay,
I like it. Hold on, I gotta throw up a couple of super chats here because I want this one here right here. Scotty couldn't keep Larsa from future Hendricks. I'm out. Wait, you guys explain this to me. I don't know the reference. What is the reference?
I mean, all right, so here's the thing. Future Hendricks is known by many a problematic ass male to be the god of misogyny, and he just be out here not loving these hoes. Oh, and so Larissa, if I remember that's his wife, not his daughter, right?
That was his wife.
Yeah. So remember, Scotty's wife cheated on him. With Future,
with young Future.
So that's the whole thing. So they're saying you think he's going to be able to try and keep the Bulls from losing? He couldn't even keep Larissa away from Future.
Wow. Also, I want to clarify in the chat. I am not hating on the Power Rangers because I sat up there and first of all, this is how you know I ain't hating because I sat up there recently and watched Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, the whole series. Okay,
all right.
Because I thought, well, first of all, the Pink Ranger was kind of cute. I don't know why. It was just something about it. Now, but nonetheless, I rock Power Rangers. But yeah, Scotty lost his whole wife to Future.
Wow.
To Jumpman. The nigga that made the song Jumpman with Drake took Scottie Pippen's wife. I need y'all to understand what God had in store for Scottie Pippen's soul.
That's rough stuff. Ben Wellington says the big hurt Air Jordan, please. I wish. Because
Frank Thomas and Michael Jordan on White Sox.
That would have been something. And people don't know. Bo Jackson went to the White Sox to try and revive his career, but in the end couldn't get around to it with his physical limits. Oh shit! There was a super chat I missed.
Sorry. It was that Yellow Ranger, Tavishka Productions. It was that Yellow Ranger in Lightspeed Rescue. My bad. It was her.
Someone put up a super chat that Corbin killed 2 people last night. But
did you not see the Money in the Bank pay-per-view?
Yeah, this is what I'm carved out for after we're done with this show to spend a couple hours watching all those matches because I'm going to do a review of it later.
Take your earphones out.
Me?
Yeah, you.
All right. Well, it's a perfect here. You
take your earphones out.
I'm going to go grab some more water. You talk about it.
Okay. I'm not going to talk about the whole entire pay-per-view, Winston. So listen, they did the Money in the Bank ladder match because now the WWE has found new, innovative, and cinematic ways to do their big pay-per-views because of the crowd. So with the Money in the Bank ladder match, normally it's just in the ring with the ladders and you just climb it, boom. They did the whole climb the corporate ladder because they started on the ground floor of WWE headquarters and you go up to the roof where there was an actual ring set up with the briefcases hanging. And so they had the men's and women's going on simultaneously, which I think was so dope because there were parts where it crossed over. The action crossed over. Dog, Baron Corbin is a 6'8", 250-some pound dude. My man took 5'6", 175 Rey Mysterio and threw his ass off the roof. That was murder.
Where did he fall to?
We don't know. Okay, we ain't heard from Ray. Ain't nobody heard from Ray. Okay, he took Aleister Black ass and chucked him off as well. All you seen on Aleister Black's Twitter is a picture of a ghost in a sheet. That's it. Like, you ain't seen that. And people are like, yo, what if that was Aleister Black posting? Hell no. His wife could be posted in remembrance. If you don't know, his real life wife is Zelina Vega. But this nigga committed murder on pay-per-view. Threw 2 niggas off the roof. Not out the ring. Not off the ladder. Off the roof. Do you understand? If you want to make somebody a super heel in wrestling, how do you do that? Throw them off the roof while there's traffic on the freeway behind you. That's how you make somebody the best person in the world.
I mean, speaking of throwing people off roofs, just wait until you watch a new episode of Harley Quinn, my nigga.
I gotta watch it. Hey, since we got this moment right now, yo, we're gonna get started again. Listen, we got a dope interview coming up for you guys.
All right, thanks so much for Jay. Thanks for Jay Winston for covering me. I appreciate it very, very much. Got my new water. We're good to go. Let's jump into something else here on the documentary as well. As soon as he started talking, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna cut him off right here." Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to. The lighting fell on the camera when I went to go get some water, so I'm adjusting as I go along with this stuff. All right. Anyway, where was it? Where were we? Just finishing up. So we talked about Francona. Let's talk about the Orlando Magic. That stuff got highlighted there as well. How they were able to, they were the only team to beat Jordan in the playoffs during this pseudo dynasty that was going on with the Bulls. Nick Anderson stealing that ball in game 1. By the way, I remember that moment happening. I remember going, "Oh, damn, is it over? He can't, is he not going to ever be able to capture this thing?" And then when he switched from 45 to 23 later in the series,
you got to say it. You got to say you got to say what Ho Grant said.
Oh yeah, what
he
say?
He's like,
oh,
look,
no,
he was like 45 ain't 23. Horace Grant was like, "Oh no,
what have you done?" But they ended up taking that series. So you got to give a lot of respect to that Magic, and we should take a moment to remember that team could have been the second coming. Ho Grant going to help Penny, Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott, Shaq, of course, a young Shaq. If they had put that thing together,
Shaq, though, because people forget how fucking monstrous Shaq was.
That's when he was tearing down rims.
Not that fat Shaq that we saw towards the end of his career. I'm talking about this dude is 7-something and nothing but muscle.
Coming straight out of LSU.
Just looking at you snapped you in half.
Yeah.
So and he said, "Go," and block that shit. So
remember when he was just going up breaking rims, and they had to say, "Hey, look, dog, look, we can't keep affording spare rims just for you."
They literally had engineers redevelop NBA rims because of Shaq.
Man.
Yep. That was in shape Shaq. That was hungry Shaq. I mean, if they had found a way to keep Shaq and Penny with Ho Grant, true.
Shaq is still very hungry.
I love what Shaq likes to eat in the back of a Buick. Now, listen, you gotta have a shirt. Why?
Here's the thing.
I went into Office Space the other day, and Shaq is trying to sell me printer ink. I don't understand.
Listen. Then what I'm telling you is, you need to go to Papa John's. I'm on the board, but I don't do shit.
That's fine. No, actually, you'll actually see me. You'll see me at the zoo with the Tiger King. That's where.
Okay, you know, second out. I had a couple Tigers I endorsed, and I sponsored. And I tried to get Chuck to go, and Chuck didn't want to go. And I told Kenny, I said, "Hey, Jet, why don't you come on? Because I know Ernie too white. He's not gonna come down there. You know what's better." So
39-8-29, bro. 39-8-29, bro. That was my favorite. That's my favorite quote of his. 39-8-29, bro. But Shaq, they interviewed Shaq afterwards because I want to get into other things he said later on down the show. But he said that anybody who's claiming that that team wasn't fully ready to take on the Magic, and so it doesn't really count that they won that because Jordan come out of retirement. Shaq said, if you step on the floor, you can get it. So if you can get it, you can be gotten. And so we got him is what he said. And I was like, you know what? I respect that logic. I don't agree with it, but I respect the logic.
I miss that Shaq. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't enjoy the Big Diesel and all the shit that he does now and even towards the tail end of his career. But there was something about the Shaq that right before he started doing movies that was just so much more entertaining to watch because he just completely dominated people.
Oh, yeah. He was so incredible to watch. One last thing I think we should hit on, and we'll talk about. We'll want to give Scottie Pippen a little bit of love here. According to ESPN, he is one of only 2 NBA players since 1980 to average 22 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2.5 steals over the course of the season, which he did through 72 games in that 93-94 season with Michael out. The other player to ever do that, Michael Jordan in 1989, when he averaged 32.5 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2.9 steals in 81 games. A lot of people think that is evidence that Scottie and Tony Kukoc, by the way, could both have thrived in this modern NBA with the way they played the game and the way they knew how to push the ball around. I mean, that sequence they showed where they completely fooled the Wizards into that jam by Scottie or by Wennington or whatever, that was incredible to watch the ball movement. You know, we get so caught up in watching the Warriors move the ball as if we've never seen great ball movement before. But watching those Bulls during the Scottie Pippen year, they were beautiful to watch as a basketball team.
It showed that Scottie was sorry about that, Winston, real quick. It just showed Scottie as a facilitator.
Yeah.
Well, and then to follow up to what you were saying, Rocha, I mean, the reason why people are so mystified by that, first of all, remember, Steve Kerr was at the heart of that when that happened. So that, of course, he's going to bring his own philosophy. But the other thing is, not soon after Michael Jordan left, here comes Allen Iverson. And all of a sudden, everybody wants to play that ISO ball.
Yeah, the one-on-one. Yeah.
So...
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. All right, one last thing. And remember, guys, the Streamlabs and the Super Chats are up. We prefer to send in Streamlabs, kind of support us all trying to do this show. Those guys have been so great to come on the show every week. Give them some love. Send in some Streamlabs. Ask some questions. Go as high as $20. We'll do imitations. We'll do Shaq imitations. We'll answer any questions you want to answer. Send them in on the Streamlabs and the Super Chats.
So dueling Shaqs. Dueling Shaq. It's almost like Shaq Fu when you pick the same character.
What you want to do, huh? You want to try my kung fu? Can we talk about one more thing real quick? We have to talk about just
Gary Payton. Is it Gary Payton?
No, fuck that. BJ Armstrong.
Okay, let's talk about that. Sure.
BJ Armstrong, when he was with the Hornets, he was like, "Yo, I know how to beat him," and he did. And then Mike, can we talk about? We see Mike in the locker room listening to Joe with a cigar and twirling a bat.
That was scary to watch.
No, for me, it's Gary Payton. Gary Payton stole this show, and the fact that he was like, "Yeah, see, that's the thing. I was roughing around. I was giving the business." You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. I was all about. I said, "I know how to get Michael. You gonna give me Michael? I'm gonna handle that." And Michael just like,
when he looked at the video, just laughing and giggling.
Glove didn't bother me. If
you had any doubt who was in charge of this documentary, it was both of those moments where they hand Michael Isaiah's words and then they hand Michael Gary Payton's words, GP's words, and listen to him laugh and cackle his butt off.
Mike had so much. Mike was like,
he was cackling. Rachel Nichols has already said this will be my favorite meme ever, and there's a GIF already of our favorite GIF ever. There's already a GIF of Jordan going.
I took a picture. There's a still of him. There's a still of him looking down, and I put on Twitter, which you can check my Twitter. Mr. J. Watson says, when you send us something freaky, and she sends you something back with all the kinkiness, and you like.
See, what got me is that what people were talking about on Twitter, which is a good point. Shawn Kemp was a monster in that series,
and had all them babies.
And well, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
That's true.
Talking about the series, but that's the thing. He actually
Shawn's a facilitator.
Peyton obviously had just won Defensive Player of the Year,
right?
But Shawn Kemp's stats in that series, I don't have them in front of me. I can find them when you move on to the next topic. Just to throw it out there. His numbers were Michael Jordan-esque, if not higher, and that's the whole thing. It's just that. It is what it is. So,
and that's why Krause was trying to trade Scottie to Seattle for Shawn. That's why he was trying. Kemp has like 240 children. Yeah, Kemp is a facilitator. He certainly.
Shawn Kemp was out there. He had
passing that ball around.
Literally, he was coming out of high school with babies. That was the thing. People forgot. Shawn Kemp didn't have all these kids just coming into the league. Shawn Kemp.
Who was the most? Was it Xavier McDaniel or Vernon Maxwell? Who's the one that had a lot of kids that was on course with Kemp? I forget. It was so many people having kids. It was insane.
Probably was the X-Man. The X-Man.
I think it was the X-Man. Yeah, I think so too as well. Great stuff all around last night. Such a fun documentary. Let me throw this last one in. You guys mentioned GP and you mentioned the other one with BJ. I got to throw in the LeBradford Smith I'm a lifelong Bullets/Wizards fan because I grew up in DC. So like when LeBradford Smith, I remember he beat Jordan. I was like, oh my God, this kid could maybe be something. And what he did to him, and I remember that it was all over the paper,
chasing him around and shit,
all over the news. He destroyed that kid's confidence.
Mike said, I'm going to score what the kid scored the whole game in the first half.
Get 35 points in the first, 36 points in the first half. I remember that distinctly, watching the Bradford get absolutely schooled.
Do you understand how petty that is? If you're LeBradford Smith, you come in you in the league, right? You score and you make an impression over Michael Jordan. Yeah. You like, yo, it can't go nowhere but up from here. And then the next night happened.
That's why. And the thing is, and Jordan says he denied, and now he says it never happened. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bradford, because it's Michael Jordan, out of respect, out of deference to the king, he was like, nice game, Mike. Just kind of like, trying to be nice. But I'm sure Mark Jordan heard nice game, Mike. I'm sure he heard that. I don't even have that tone in my life. I've never said that in my life. And he just got destroyed. So,
by the way, I went and found it. So Sean Kemp put up 23.3 points per game, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.3 steals, and 2 blocks. To Michael's 27.3 points, 5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.7 steals, and 0.02 blocks. So Kemp was insane, but that's fine. You keep talking about it.
I'm laughing because when he said Kemp put up 23, I was like, he had 23 babies.
23 babies. One for every point he averaged in that series. But the other thing is this: next time you're playing Michael Jordan, have your coach not be a dick to him in a restaurant. That George Karl story, I had never heard that story, and I was like, "Oh,
how does nobody not know that is the worst decision you could possibly
make? Right? Like,
oh my, he is the king of petty. Yeah. Why would you do that?
I mean, it's so stupid.
And in fact, Mike just was like, "Oh, okay,
yeah."
Yo, but look what the Tavisca production said. Yeah, I made that up. That's hilarious.
Jordan did say that
about how he never. He was like, "Yeah, no, he never came up to me and said, good game, Mike." Yeah. Like, nice try, Mike, whatever. I just made that shit up.
Well, David Aldridge and Ahmad Rashad kept saying Mike will find anything he can to motivate him. And
I'm not gonna lie to you, I respect it.
Listen, do you understand how petty? I don't think y'all are getting how petty you got to be in your soul to let the words "nice game, Mike" be what motivates you to embarrass somebody's entire career. Do you know what level of LeBradford Smith's embarrassment that is? It's a Tyronn Lue gets stepped over by AI. Do you understand the level of embarrassment?
I mean, that's the thing. If you think you can start playing mind games with Michael Jordan in the finals and you've just got there for the first time in your life as George Karl, you're a flat-out idiot. You're a flat-out idiot. And Karl was known for being a bit of a jerk, so no surprise he tried to play on the field with Michael. Michael's like, you're just a little baby. You're a little baby trying to play my game, man. It was so obvious.
I don't know if you guys heard, but his children got interviewed recently because most of them, all of them actually all have executive positions with Jumpman. Yeah. And they were telling stories about what it was like growing up with Michael Jordan. They're like, oh, yeah, we used to play football with Dad, and it was supposed to just be touch. And then one of us was about to break a touchdown. All of a sudden, you get tackled from behind and fumble the ball. It's like, that's what I thought, bitch. And the ball goes flying out. So, one of the kids came in with Skechers, and he set the motherfuckers on fire. He's like, you gonna wear Skechers in my house?
One more line from that documentary. Shoot that free throw, ho! Never get that.
Dude, the death stare. Fuck that. The Jordan death stare.
Oh my god!
I texted Adam Caparel, who's the complex. He's senior editor for Complex Sports. I texted him. I said, "Jesus Christ, that death stare." He goes, "Oh yeah, that death stare would eviscerate you." It's like that. What's that gif when the guy snaps and he just disappears? That gif. And that's what it feels like. Like if Jordan did that to you, you'd be like, "Oh, poof, I'm out of here. I don't want to be here anymore." I said to Adam, I'd probably throw hands with Jordan, and he said, "Yeah, he'd probably deck you." And I said, "Yeah, I'd probably be traded Monday morning." But like that kind of death stare, you're just like, how much of that can you take? And all those guys, it's almost like a psychological thing, right? Jordan knew the kind of players he needed to have on his team to be able to listen to him and get them to the next level. And these guys were willing to endure a lot of shit from Jordan because in the exchange, they became champions, And that was the thing at the end of the day. Even Purdue said that, yeah, was he a dick? Was he an ass? Did he cross the line multiple times? Sure. But when you step back and you realize what he was actually trying to do, it was all for all the right reasons. You're like, man, that's incredible.
Yeah. No, and then the last thing about because I know we got to get to other topics. I think the last thing that's really interesting about the whole documentary as a whole, I don't know if you guys knew, as of like last week, they still actually weren't done filming this thing. They just finished it recently. Yeah. So it is 10. It still is a 10-parter, but they just wrapped this up.
That's why they were hesitant about hurrying up and putting it out now. That's why June.
They still weren't done.
Okay, so that makes sense now. June was the target date because, like, they're like, oh, hey, can y'all finish sitting the fuck down and just talk, just
put it out. Yeah, guys, hit that like button. We got over 160 y'all watching us live right now. Thank you so much. Please, but only 63 likes. So swing that cursor button over, hit that like, get us over 100 likes, get us to 150 likes before we wrap this show up. Please give it some love. Would love to have your help on that front. So swing that cursor button over, hit the like button. We got 2 Streamlabs that came through while we were waiting here. Tavishka Production said, oh, wait, hold on. Let me bring it up. Oh, the computer's being weird. Or is it, can we please talk about the real story that everyone is overlooking? What's with those nicotine-stained eyes of Jordan? Settle down on the cigars, Mike.
That ain't nicotine. That ain't nicotine. That's all that liquor. You understand? Right. Mike's a drinker.
He said, let some of that airness get into your retinas, man. So, yeah, is it liquor? Is that what this is?
That's a lot of liquor. That's some of it's nicotine, but a lot of that's liquor when you drink.
Combo. Okay. That's 1,000% a combo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, combo of drinking and the cigars?
Because that's what he does. He drinks a lot of whiskey. He smokes a lot of cigars. That adds up.
I guarantee.
Also, Michael Jordan is a 60-year-old black man from the South. This is what you get with natural aging. Yeah. I'm just going to be realistic. If you've never seen an older black man from the South, you would think, oh, well, he's got money, so he's not going to look the same. Look at it. He literally is beginning to look like his dad and his brother. All of them all look the same. So it's like you knew what were going to happen.
Yeah, and we should touch on one last Streamlab, then we'll touch on one last thing. This is from Hill Nellums, rather. With this doc, understanding what Pippen went through with contract and then being the leader of the team after Jordan left, I understand it more. Still hate it, but he should have just inbounded and not done anything. He saves face either if Kukoc hits the shot or not. He still saves face because A, he's doing what the coach told him to do, and B, he doesn't miss the last shot Kukoc does. So it would have worked out for him either way if he had a little more forward thinking in that moment.
Interesting question now that you bring that up, because I didn't even put 2 and 2 together because they played them at different times of the documentary. Mm-hmm. Do you think that part of the reason why Pippen was holding out as long as he was is because of this moment? So he still probably felt disrespected by the organization. So he's like, well, let me go ahead and get my cheddar then, because y'all don't look at me as like the real deal.
I think there was a lot of disrespect in Scotty's eyes, a lot of disrespect in the residue. And why wouldn't you, man? I mean, playing second fiddle to Jordan, if you're not psychologically built to handle being second banana and constantly being overlooked, it's tough. It's a tough situation to be in, that's for sure. Anyway, all right. And we should mention the Steve Kerr fight real quick. The punch that punch, he knocked Steve Kerr in the chest. And then Jordan, to his credit, Jordan said he was down in the locker room and he felt terrible about it.
Steve Kerr ain't no bitch. Steve Kerr ain't no bitch. That's the only thing you can say about it.
That's why those guys on the Warriors respect the shit out of Kerr, man. He must be tough when he needs to be tough. I bet he goes after him and gets in their asses when he needs to because he knows what it takes to win. So in a way, having that fight with Jordan was a positive because both of them said that their relationship was completely different and better after that moment. And maybe that's all Jordan needed. And I've met people like that. They just need you to get up in their face and push back at them, and then they respect you because they know you've got that fire. That's what I try to
and that's what happens. And like you said, what it does is it makes that leader respect you more. You're like, all right, so if you're not going to back down to me, I know you won't back down on this court.
Yeah, that's why I walked in the exchange. I punched Dan in the face and Ben in the face afterwards. I made sure you take me seriously. That's what I did. And then I slapped Finstock.
That sounds about right.
That sounds about I did none of those things.
That checks out. That sounds like something you would do, yeah.
Come here, goat. Anyway, so great stuff last night. Thank you all so much for the comments. Thank you all so much for the super chats and Streamlabs. Keep those Streamlabs coming in. Come on, you want to support these guys talking all about this stuff. So we're going to move on to the next story, and that is the NBA again. Well, actually, we should jump into a funny story before we jump into that. On the internet, it was posted on Mother's Day. This incredible video. And the guys asked me to put it on the show, so we're going to talk about it. Did you guys, for Mother's Day, take a look at this?
Buckets! Buckets! She got you buckets! Oh, she got you buckets! She got you buckets! Ah!
That was on TikTok.
She got you buckets! She got you buckets! Ah!
Y'all don't understand. You do not understand. That poor black child, like real talk, is on suicide watch right now.
Yeah, you can't live.
I'll tell you why. I don't have factual evidence for this, but I'm gonna tell you right now. Growing up as a black kid, if you got embarrassed by something like that, like you would be clowned for the rest of your life.
You gotta go further. You got to go to the levels in which you get clowned on. If you get clowned on by your boy, you get like if your homeboy cross you over, it's a level of clowning. Right. If a white kid is literally on the basketball court, even though the kid can ball, like you see a white kid can ball, he crossed you, it's a thing. Right. Somebody's dad crossed you, you like, whatever, you supposed to.
This was someone's mom in khakis and Birkenstocks. They are referring to her as crossover Karen. Like
Karen.
Like that child, I'm serious.
Buckets!
Somebody please send like a social worker to check on this child. I'm trying to tell you, he has been embarrassed. Every black kid and it's like, you had nigga from the thing that got crossover by crossover Karen. Oh shit, son. Did you give you an apple slice after that shit, nigga?
I gotta say it one more time.
Buckets! Buckets! She got you buckets! Oh, she got you buckets! She got you buckets! Ah!
Wait.
She not only went behind the back.
I don't know. I gotta defend the kid a little bit. I think the kid was being nice. It's an older lady.
Go back to it. Turn our mics on when you do it.
All right, play it again. I can't when I play video.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Click on our mic icons.
Just click on the mics.
Okay. All right, hold on. Oh, let me see if I can.
Buckets! Buckets! She got you buckets! Oh, she got you buckets! She got
I can. There we go. All right, now I can do. Okay, look.
Buckets!
All right, look, he gave real defense.
He even reached once he realized. Honestly, John, once he realized she was past, you saw how hard he reached to try and block that shot.
The defeat was in his arms. He had the defeat in his arm for the reach. He was like, no! Like it was in his soul coming out his fingertips. Fuck!
He made the mistake of reaching as she made the turn. When you reach, it's tough to come back. If you miss the reach, it's tough to come back.
The last part about it that kills me, man, is the comments that I saw had me like floating away to heaven, like going to glory. Like probably one of my favorites was someone said that boy was a store clerk and the rim was a manager. Ain't nothing gonna stop him from getting to the manager, bro. like that. Hold on, there's some other good ones that I wrote down. That I'll read real fast. Let's see.
No, wait. Yeah. The boy was a store clerk and the rim was a manager.
You had my ancestors didn't brave the middle passage, so someone hooping in easy spirits could body a dude with the behind the back crossover and finish with the left hand like this.
That is horrible.
An
easy spirits thing.
You had mom slip on some shoes, abuela's shades, behind the back, left fillet finger roll. Now go do your chores, son. You had someone take Dr. Umar Johnson photo.
He said abuela's shades.
and then my best, I don't know if you can see that Jordan face. It said, skip to my Louise can ball. Skip to my Louise can ball. I'm telling you, man. Oh, God.
Oh, shit. That was great. Oh, I like that. What is that? Kevin Hart? Is that Kevin Hart?
Oh, that's Michael Jordan.
Right? Here's the last one. It was a crossover Karen Game Boy that worked and capri pants and a crop top sweater and finish him with the Stephen Nash scoop. But we should have seen it coming. She got the soccer mom smash mad black dudes in college, but married a guy named Brent later haircut.
Oh, that was incredible. Incredible. Thank you for making me put that on the show, man, guys. That was brilliant because I saw it last night and I was like, oh, that's funny. But I didn't think it had gotten this kind of a response.
Oh my God.
She does. She makes the move. He bites too quick on the left, and then as she makes the turn, he reaches out too quickly instead of positioning himself between the rim and her, and she's gone.
One more time. One last time.
It's probably Diana Taurasi in a wig, for all we know.
Buckets! Buckets! She got you buckets! She got you buckets!
Wait. I didn't even catch that she went behind the back.
Yes! See that? That's why it was so crazy. That's why he yelled buckets before she even got to the rim, bro.
Bro, there's no way that's not Sue Bird in a wig. There's just no way that's not Sue Bird. She comes out, she's like an all-star collegiate, former WNBA player, and that poor kid.
Oh, my God.
Man.
It's
great stuff.
Bullock Blindside all over again. Like, you better learn how to protect. You better get up there and protect. Like, that.
She walked off in the grass.
Yes, she did. She walked off in the grass, too, talking about.
She went and baked the apple pie after that. I'm telling you,
She came out. She came out talking about boys. It's time to come in. The snacks are ready. Hey, we still playing the game. Oh, what'd you say?
Oh, you not gonna come in?
I said snacks are ready. And then she walked off, bro.
You want these cheese and crackers, huh?
Orange slices.
I got to be something in the house now. Bring your ass inside.
Wait, one more time with our sound.
Buckets!
Oh,
she got you buckets! Oh, she got you buckets!
Oh my God, she just walked right off. She just walked right off home.
He tried to play it off. He tried to dribble behind his back like that wasn't a big deal.
Hey, but his face even looked defeated.
Oh yeah,
so sad. Man, old ass Esther done goddamn crossed me.
That was beautiful.
Man, how is Stacey Mom gonna do this to me, man? Fuck, man.
Stacey's mom.
Like, I gotta go make my kids some cookies. I'm out. She just walked right off to her house. She just climbed up. She probably jumped over the fence. She's so incredible.
She was like, boys, I thought I had paid y'all to come out. You said you were gonna come out here. You're gonna help me with some yard work. Oh, you wanted to get distracted. You want to play some ball. All right, look. Once I go ahead and dunk on you, you get your ass back to work. Like that was. Oh man.
You can't tutor Johnny.
Buckets! She got you buckets!
Two super chats came in here. Justin Petrie said, just to think it could have been 8 titles in 8 years instead of 6 if Jordan didn't leave. That's pure domination right there. No way.
I don't think
Jordan was burnt. There was no way. Both times they mentioned that in 92 and in 98, he is burnt out. He's given everything he can because to play at that high level, look, even the Warriors, for all of the great stuff they did, they blew a 3-1 lead. So it happens. You get burnt out. It gets to be too much. Jordan's kind of guy that gave so much of himself. I don't think he would have won 8 in a row. There's no way.
I think what would have probably ended up happening is you probably in a situation where Jordan probably loses the next year because that burnout was real. And then he probably goes right. He comes back, but then who knows? Maybe he only ends up with 5.
We don't get I guarantee you, we don't get the 2 3-peats at all. We don't get that.
No, you don't.
No way. Another one came in through John Doe. After the release of the NFL schedule, what do you think your teams will do? As a Cowboys fan, I think they will go 10-6, win the division, and lose in the playoffs.
See y'all later. Y'all talk about this.
I saw a couple of the Ringer said the Bears did a good job, man. I don't know. And the draft.
Dude, I'll put money on the fact that the Bears will have first team, second team, and third team tight ends. Y'all gonna just wrap all that shit up. The odds are in your favor. You have 10 candidates to make it happen for you.
I think my Redskins are going to surprise people like crazy. I think we're going to sneak in and get that wild card. I really do. I think we're going to go 11-5. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. Chase Young is a game changer. If that defense keeps bearing through the line and tackling mofos in the backfield, I think Haskins has enough to be able to get us someplace. We'll see. I mean,
we have one of the easiest schedules. I want to pull it up real fast. It may take me a second. So if Jay has something he wants to say,
what can I say? Huh? I got 12 tight ends on one team. What is that? Why would you even come to me? There's nothing for me to speak on with this.
I mean, our first game is at the Rams. I'm pissed that we're probably not going to be in the phase 4 yet, so I can't go to that game.
Okay.
But like we play the Falcons, that looks like a dub. The Seahawks, that's going to be a battle, but we can win that. We've gone back and forth in a few years. Browns, that's a dub. Giants, who knows? Cardinals, that's a dub. Y'all, that's a dub. Eagles, that's a dub. Steelers, depends on what they look like. Vikings, Redskins, that's another dub. Ravens, probably going to lose that. Bengals, that's a dub. 49ers, that's a loss. Eagles, that's probably another win. Giants, that's a win. Like we're gonna lose like 3 games. Like that's the thing. We're gonna lose 3 games, but then we're gonna end up probably washing out the first game of the playoffs like we always do. So it's what it is.
I don't want to have this discussion. I don't want to talk football.
You know what? You know what the Bears can't get? They can't get buckets. The Bears can't get buckets.
They get tight ends. They got tight ends. Tight ends.
This is my mood.
Oh, the Jordan side eye, man. The Jordan side eye. All right, guys, we got over 165 y'all in here. Please hit that like button, swing that cursor button over, give it some love. Hit like. We got 96 likes. I want to break through that 100 mark, get to the 150 mark before we wrap this thing up. Well, we're already an hour and 10 minutes in the show. I can't believe it's gone this fast reviewing that. Let's jump in to some more topics here. Let's move on. Let's see what have I got right up here. Okay, so the NBA, they're talking about coming back at some point here. Shaq said they should just scrap the season, but ESPN has reported that a handful of teams will be able to give coronavirus tests to asymptomatic players, and that today is the earliest day for teams to reopen facilities for player workouts. That was on Friday. Sorry, Friday was the earliest day. So apparently the Cavaliers and the Trailblazers opened their facilities today. Obviously, they're not all working or working out on top of each other. They're working in separate areas of the gym or of the facilities so that they're not on top of each other. So that's basically the update. But already the Orlando Magic have been approved and plan to administer testing to players prior to a Tuesday reopening. And the Clippers and the Lakers are among the teams expected to be allowed to conduct coronavirus tests of all players and staff, regardless of whether they're experiencing symptoms, because of what Gavin Newsom said. They have tests for everything. It doesn't matter if you're showing symptoms or not. If you want to get tested in California and Los Angeles proper, finally, you can get tested if you want to just go get a test. So that's a positive overall. But I mean, do you agree with Shaq? Should we just scrap the season, start all over again in December? What's y'all's feelings about this real quick?
See, I think it's a tough call with that one because there are some players who like, it is what it is. Like if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, let's just call it for what it is. Yep. You've earned this #1 record thus far. True. So if you call it season, we've earned it. Okay. Now, I understand, yes, there's the playoffs, and sometimes you have upsets. I get it. But I don't think you should scrap. I don't think you should just scrap the season, because if you do scrap the season anyway, if you do scrap it, they're the champs. Yep. Plain and simple. Yep. So, what do you want to happen? Do you want it to say, "Oh, well, we're gonna go ahead and pick it up"?
I don't think you call it.
No, but I'm just saying. No, but I'm just saying again, like you said, it's gonna be an asterisk. Yes, we get that. But at the same time, if you bring it back, then you'll have people complaining, "Well, we've been out of shape so long," and then the teams who could win won't. So either way it goes, it's a catch-22 whether you bring the season back or just call it. Yeah. No matter who's the champ, I think that's the thing. The biggest thing is no matter who is the champion. Will have an asterisk by their name, no matter what.
I know this sounds kind of wild, but I think what they probably should have done. I know we were in fear mode and we didn't have time to think this quickly. And also, good luck trying to get a bunch of like millionaire professionals to do this. They should have instantly, when they said we're putting this on hold, they should have taken all of the players and almost put them in kind of like a dorm type scenario, and then let them. For those that are not infected, stay around each other and continue to practice and whatever else to be ready for this. I know some of them have stayed in shape, but I'm less worried. I mean, the basketball shape you are worried about because they haven't been going full speed, I'm sure. But I'm also worried about their chemistry. If you notice, those first few games of the season are always trash because they need the time
to get back
to kinks. If you were to say, fuck it, go straight to the playoffs right now, I think that you're asking for the most parity. Yeah. Because whereas Giannis and them boys were like vibing, all of a sudden, what if they, it's because they were like on that roll. They were feeling the endorphins. They were like sinking on certain plays. They've been out 2.5, 3 months. Right. Like it's not going to be the same at this point. So I think you call it. Okay.
Yeah, Chris Paul said it's going to take about 3 weeks for them to get back into playing shape. So you have to factor that into the equation of when you might start the season again, if you were even going to start the season again. And we'll see. The other league that might be starting their season earlier, that's the MLB. Major League Baseball today had meetings, at least according to CBS Sports, HQ's Jim Bowden. They were supposed to have meetings today to discuss a proposal, with the MLB expected to submit a plan to the union on Tuesday. Joe Sherman of the New York Post adds that representatives from each team will also conduct a Monday conference call with Commissioner Rob Manfred. Right now, according to the Athletics' Ken Rosenthal, here are the nuts and bolts of that proposal. A truncated season of 80 or so games beginning in early July. Teams would only face division rivals and the same geographic division in the other league to keep games regional. Teams would open the season in as many home parks as possible. That will cut down on travel and allow players to and personnel to easily isolate at home with their families. The expanded postseason format would send 7 teams to the playoffs per the league, and the DH will be used in both leagues in order to spare pitchers from additional fatigue and wear and tear. Also, the MLB is proposing further pay reduction for players to account for the revenue lost. The owners will seek less than prorated pay for players, and in fact are adamant they will not pay prorated dollars, saying losses would be too steep. One possible proposal is a 50-50 revenue split, but the players' side has been adamant about prorated money here, half pay for 81 games. Something has to give is what they're saying here between these two organizations rather. The MLBPA executive director, Tony Clark, said that negotiation about pay is over in their minds. Also, travelers to Canada are subject to a 14-day quarantine. That could be a trouble for teams like Toronto that are in Canada, and they have completely scrapped the idea of neutral sites, saying that it would be way too much trouble to try to just have all the teams come to Arizona, Florida, or Texas, which I totally understand. So if they do this, spring training would not start until June right now. So what do you guys think about it overall?
I heard about the whole Canadian situation, having just talked to some execs out in Canada. Okay. No matter, that's the way they're handling it. If you come in from another country, you are, whether you have it or not, you are automatically quarantined 14 days to be safe. So you would have to, it doesn't work for the Canadian teams with a truncated season, because that takes away almost 11 to 12 games with their schedule. So that automatically takes out 11 to 12 games. And so you have to figure out a way to say either, and it's going to be weird, making those teams American teams under their Canadian names. That's the only way. That's the only way that could work. You have to make it.
They wouldn't even necessarily have American names. They would just need to relocate to American
That's
city.
what I'm saying. I said, I didn't mean, make them American teams under their Canadian names. Excuse me.
Right.
So they're still the Blue Jays. They're still the Maple Leafs, but they're based out of somewhere in Arizona, somewhere in Florida for this season. They have to do that. That'll be the only way you can do that, to make sure these teams are still able to play and you have this division that you want to have, and it doesn't break the schedule in which, because again, 80 games out of 172, I don't think there should be a problem.
Right. Well, the owners agreed to it today. I'm looking at ESPN right now. The owners agreed to a certain situation here, what they were talking about, a 50-50 revenue split, but without the prorated stuff. This is now going to go to the players, and it's going to be a negotiation between the MLBPA and the owners about the situation.
Man, they union. We talking about the baseball players union, boy.
About that. Sean Kenobi Doolittle, who's a pitcher for the Nationals, he tweeted out right after this was announced. He said, "Bear with me, but it feels like we've zoomed past the most important aspect of any MLB restart plan: health protections for players, families, staff, stadium workers, and the workforce it would require to resume a season." Another vital points in the proposal: an expansion of playoff teams from 10 to 14. That's interesting. An 82-game season, the use of home stadiums in areas that have local and state government approval, a so-called spring training 2.0 that begins in June with a season set for early July. As we said already, universal designated hitter, geographic schedule, so teams are only playing in division, and a 30-man roster with a taxi squad that would have upward of 50 players available. So teams estimate that upwards of 40% of their revenue comes from ticket sales and other gate-related income. So if you're not going to have fans in the stands, that's a huge, huge financial hit the owners are going to take. and the players. I mean, you got to be realistic. How can you get paid from money that's not being made? If you're a player, like, you got to give on the money a little bit just to be able to play.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you how. Easily. Okay. Players instantly assume that the owners have money on standby.
Right. Billions of dollars
on standby. And they forget that unless this team is operating and bringing in revenue, you, for instance, can't get paid. And yeah, you're going to have that TV commercial money, but that's not going to be as much as you need from people being in the stadiums. But again, I even said, like I said it before, here and everywhere, that's where that 4-phase refilling the stadium plan comes in. You're going to have those ticket holders who are majority and minority holders who are going to be allowed to bring a few people with them. That's going to start out first. Then you're going to go to season ticket holders, and you'll put them in those local stands. That builds up. Then you're going to have the rest.
Yeah.
But that's exactly how it's going to go. That way you can slowly, if you have these people who spend the most money anyway on tickets, have them spending money in the, putting the economy and stimulating that economy, it's going to work.
Yeah. It'll be interesting though, because you got to also, I mean, dude, let's be realistic, both of you. Let's be realistic. We've seen already a Family Dollar security guard get shot and killed. We saw 4 people at McDonald's in Oklahoma get shot by someone because they had to wear a mask.
They just started fighting down the street from us, where we both live at, down the street at the Target. Bro, you ain't hear about that? The Target in Van Nuys?
Yeah, go ahead, talk to me. I don't live in Van Nuys, but go ahead.
No, I'm talking Winston because the way you looking, bro. The Target down the street from us on Sepulveda, the dog.
So if you want to go find Jay, go to Van Nuys.
I was about to go there today. What happened?
Oh,
two white dudes started fighting the security guards because they told them they had to leave because they didn't have a mask on.
It's a shame, man. It's a shame.
Someone brought up the point. Somebody brought up the point that, like, there was a number of people on the right who were super quick to be like, I respect a bakery that don't want to make a cake for a gay couple. Right. But now all of a sudden they're like, in order to retain our services, which we retain the right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Winston, retain the right. I got it. I like
his hand on his chest. Just stay like this while he froze.
Yeah, you got froze. Go ahead. Tell me again. Say it again.
Well, just I ain't wearing no motherfucking mask. Like that. That's all I really said.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I mean, they've turned the mask thing into something completely nefarious and
kind of like they did with Colin Kaepernick's protest. All right, let's go.
I'm not going to disagree with you there. That's for damn sure. I just think it's so ridiculous overall. It's just a mask, for God's sakes. There are plenty of very comfortable masks for you to wear to go into public and do. Don't give me this crap. I can't breathe. Bullshit.
Neither can Eric Garner, but we sat there and had cops mock him. Oh, I'm sorry.
You can't check them all. You can't check all the boxes, Jay, on one episode.
Sorry.
Spread them out. But no, this whole situation here. I mean, I just got a black mask from a friend of mine that is very. It's very like it's loose, but it holds. So what it is it's like all around the ears. It's all cloth, so it's very comfortable to wear. And I've been bike riding with it. Very comfortable to wear. So there are masks out there. If you do a little bit of effort, God forbid, that you can wear that are fine. So my question was this, coming back to MLB stuff, who is going to be there patrolling the aisles? How many people are you going to have patrolling the aisles telling people, hey, put your mask on, or hey, keep the social distance? In some of those stadiums, some of those angry conservative people are going to be upset about this situation. And that bothers me. Well, not just even conservative, because there's idiots out here in LA who are getting together in large groups, and doing things that they're doing. I saw 2 birthday parties on my street, well over 20 people hanging out outside and just drove me insane. So it isn't just one side or the other. You're seeing the anger from one side, but the other side is also not wearing masks. My girlfriend's down in San Diego. She's like, nobody's wearing a mask where she's at. And it's just insane how people are just treating this thing.
I don't get it. I feel like I think, because I don't know if I can keep talking about this because I'm gonna get angry. Okay. But like it's just from the standpoint that, like, again, no one is telling you that you have to hop on one foot through a fucking store. Nobody's telling you that, like, you can't buy certain things. They're literally asking you to do one favor to come into their property, into their business. Mm-hmm. If you don't like it, just leave.
You know that whole
shit off Amazon. I don't.
Did you see the dude who just
the right service?
Did you just see the dude in Miami who just lost his mind in a grocery store because they told him he couldn't come with a mask? He was like, "This is a false flag, and it's my constitutional right." First of all, let me just say this to anyone watching this right now: if you're watching it live and if you're watching it later, there is nothing in the Constitution
that says you cannot wear a mask if you don't want to.
About masks. There is nothing in the Constitution that says that a business has to let you in the door to utilize their services if you don't wear masks. There is nothing in the Constitution. Stop doing that.
Very much.
Because as much as you want to defend it, you're demeaning it. And if you're watching this and you're like,
no, it's fine. Jeremy had a very good point. We didn't talk about Earl Thomas yet.
Can we please talk about Earl Thomas?
All right. You guys say, what's the deal with Earl Thomas? Break it down.
You didn't know.
You didn't know? I'm sure I read it and was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So just walk right past it.
Earl Thomas, people say, that like blood is thicker than water. Right. And so Earl Thomas out here in these streets, married to this beautiful Nubian queen, and he happened to cheat on her. He cheated on her. He cheated on his wife.
Right.
Wife is assuming something's going on, so she thinks the brother is helping him cheat. So she gets the wife of his brother Seth as well. Mm-hmm. And they happen to go up in an Airbnb, and they happen to find the two brothers having sex with two women on the bed together. They are literally gangbanging these two ladies.
They are literally making a category off Pornhub.
Wow.
So that's what we're talking about. And there's all sorts of stuff, including there was talks about the Ravens actually dropping him.
No. You missed the one important part. You missed the one important part of the story.
Under his head and shit.
The wife put a gun to Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas put a gun to his head. She was like, well, I took the clip out. But what actually happened, his brother, no, the dad wasn't there. The dad wasn't there. Don't do that. You find me the article that says the dad was there, because everything I said was just the brothers. True, but she had taken the clip out. She actually almost killed Earl because she.
Keep talking, Jay.
So I have a clip. I have a thing I'm about to email you right now.
Okay.
It's a tweet you need to see. Okay. When I show you this tweet that I'm about to send you, you are going to holler laughing. Okay. Make sure I got it.
But it says the wife allegedly held a gun to his head last month when she found him in bed with another woman. I'm reading this off the New York Post here. The Ravens were looking into whether the incident voided terms of his contract, according to the Baltimore Sun, but Pro Football Talk reported that nothing documented that went on would suggest Thomas has violated his contract that runs through the 2022 season. So he was not arrested. He was he was the victim, if anything. Wow. There it is. What's that? What are you guys doing?
Well, you said his Earl was not erected.
Right. They said he's the victim in this situation. So, Thomas went viral this week after reports leaked of the April 13 event in which his wife, Nina, discovered his infidelities and held a gun to his head before he wrestled it away from her. When the police arrived, Nina was chasing Earl with a knife, and he had the gun at that point. Woo!
But that was the whole thing. There was one in the chamber, so she didn't realize that. So it was a good thing she didn't actually pull the trigger, because he would have been gone. Murder.
Check your email, Rocha. Okay. Check your email. Check your Gmail.
In an Instagram video that was deleted subsequently, Earl Thomas said, "It's really not anybody's business. It pisses me off that the story got out. Instead of talking about us, just keep us in y'all's."
So that's what. So exactly since you said that, I need you to go right now to your email and pull up the clip, because another football player interjected his thoughts behind this.
No, please tell me it wasn't Antonio Brown. Please.
No. Well, wait, send it to me then. I want to see.
Hold on. Okay. I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
Okay, cool.
I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
So my favorite meme that came in this while, but we'll give Rocha some time to get the video up, happens to be a meme where someone put Thomas the Train on one side, the train.
Oh no!
And then they had Thomas the Train, and it was the two brothers like right next to each other.
That's
how they be putting the dates next to a movie when they do a remake.
Yes,
2009 was in 2020.
Please, no questions about the incident with my wife and brother. Respect our privacy. Marking him second, bro. No questions about your wife catching you and your brother banging the same chick. Then a gun gets involved. Nah, motherfucker. We got questions.
That's his teammate. Oh, no.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, that's his teammate.
There are going to be some fights in Baltimore.
Whoa.
No.
That's my quarterback. That's
Right, you can't sit there and say no questions, respect my privacy. No, motherfucker, we got questions.
I also didn't realize it was the same girl. I thought it was two different girls. So they were banging this. They were tearing
Yeah,
down.
they were banging the same chick.
Oof.
Yeah. She walked in. She literally walked in on damn near Eiffel Tower, bro.
Oof.
She walked in on him getting the good side from the back, and the brother's eyes was down low. And so next thing you know, he just felt the pressure on the temple, and it was like, yeah.
When I tell you that this is the kind of analysis you won't get from ESPN, this is what I mean. Break it down. Yes, go ahead. What were you going to say?
This right here is like, yeah, girl, you like that shit? Get up.
It's like Goodfellas, right? When she wakes up with a gun in his face. Karen. Mark probably meant to send that into the DMs. Oh well.
No, mama, we got questions.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you like that? Huh?
Oh, I like this one.
Wait.
Artem said he chased old boy back to Texas. Yikes.
So that's the Earl Thomas story, bro.
All right. Good to know.
Because everybody hear about the little, like, oh, he might get released. No, you need to hear the full story.
He's leaving his job.
Real talk. I mean, Corey Scott Johnson. He had said, it's not funny because it's domestic violence at the finest, and if this is the other way around. But the truth is, like, there's a couple things. First of all, a celebrity's involved, so that obviously adds a level of humor
and distance.
And distance, of course. I mean, if it had been a situation where like Serena and Venus had been like taking a dude down, and then Serena's like billionaire husband came along with a gun, like, I mean.
It was wrong. I just want to say for the record,
I had to think of siblings.
Listen, I want to say this. If it was Serena and Venus, that means that dude is getting fucked. He is not doing, like, she is like, Serena is putting in that work on Homeboy. When you think about it, like,
I
wouldn't do nothing wrong around Serena.
I mean, all I'm saying is like, yes, it's not as funny at all. It's just there's something about this.
Don't get me wrong. I'm dying laughing. There we go. This ain't Sports Center. New slogan for Game Time.
Yo.
I actually like that.
Oh man, dude! I'm still. The guy's name would definitely be the ball boy. Yeah, dude, if Venus and Serena is fucking anybody, yes, you like, I'm here at the moment, but at the same time, you fit for your safety. Because Serena gonna put this work on you, dog. She's gonna give you this business. And now you gotta sit there and be like, yes, Miss Champion. Yes, Miss Champion. Like, and then you gotta look at both sides when you say, yes, Miss Champion. Like, you don't know how to. And can you imagine if, like, Serena got powerful legs, dog? If you doing a certain thing and she don't reach her peak and you try to move, she didn't give you an adjustment in your neck you didn't want to get. Like, it's just horrible. This ain't Sports Center, dog. This ain't Sports Center.
I like that. This ain't Sports Center. Game Time. This ain't Sports Center. All right, let's move on to another story here. I don't see any Streamlabs that have come through. Guys, send your Streamlabs in. Send the Streamlabs in. Don't say anything, but I've sent some super chats, so thank you for sending those in. But would appreciate the Streamlabs. Super chat takes 33% of that money, whereas Streamlabs is more immediate and doesn't. So please send in your Streamlabs if you got some questions to ask. All right, let's move on to the Zion stories. I think this is really interesting. Zion Williamson's, speaking of, gun dads, Zion Williamson's former marketing agency, Prime Sports Marketing, is alleging that the family of the former Duke star and current New Orleans Pelicans rookie took money to steer Williamson to Duke and certain shoe companies, according to court documents that were publicized on Sunday. The Athletics legal analyst Daniel Wallach shared these court documents on Twitter. They're from a civil court in Miami-Dade County, and they're part of a civil lawsuit against Williamson and his current agents filed by Prime Sports Marketing, LLC. The allegations, according to CBS here, amount to a surprising twist in a saga of dueling lawsuits. The 5-page request for admissions filed by the plaintiffs asks Williamson to admit that his mother and stepfather, quote, demanded and received gifts, money, and or other benefits from persons acting on behalf of Duke University, either directly or indirectly, to influence you to attend Duke University to play basketball, unquote. Duke spokesman Michael Schoenfeld said in a September statement to the Durham Herald-Sun that an outside investigation was conducted once the school was alerted to potential eligibility issues with Williamson. Says they didn't find anything wrong. Internal investigations rarely do. The court document publicized Sunday also alleges that Williamson's parents accepted benefits from representatives of Nike and Adidas to influence Williamson to wear their apparel and attend a school affiliated with their brands. Prime Sports Marketing initially signed Williamson as a client after his freshman season, but just over a month later, he signed with another agency, prompting them to seek legal action. So this is a big, big story because once again, college basketball, once again, a star player taking benefits, a star player, especially at Duke. Duke is one of the most premier programs. Krzyzewski's been there a long time. There have always been rumors that have dogged Duke, that they have somehow gotten away with a lot of illegal stuff in the background, and that the NCAA looks the other way because Duke is one of their biggest money-making programs in basketball. So you look at this situation. Do you think this happened? What do you think about this? And are we not done with this? And will this kind of derail this young man's career by distracting him with stuff that's off the court?
I mean, I find it hard to really feel bad for anybody with the exception of these players because, again, you are out here selling them and making billions off of them. So I give two fucks about an agency, two fucks about the NCAA that are taking all this money and making all these money off of kids one way or the other. If you eliminate this and you make it like, it was a big step in the right direction to let kids in California earn off their likeness. Yeah. I've always said that in the same way that like you had like on scholarship myself and on loans, I had work study. Right. I always said that if you want to amplify it a little bit because they're what they're working towards, the amount of money they bring in for the school, if you just want to set that up that this is essentially like a glorified work study for these players, all of this goes away. So sure,
they're not letting those kids do it. But I'll say something because he's about to come in 3, 2, 1, and he's back.
Oh, wow. That was good timing. All I was going to say is that, and the funny thing is it didn't even stop on mine. It normally stops. But if you give them a standard ass wage for the amount of hours they're putting in. So even if it's minimum, which is bullshit, but even if you gave the minimum wage and let them sit there and make that amount of money, like call it an even 15 an hour for doing that shit. Yeah. Like again, then at least they're lining their pockets, stuff like that, and then they can push themselves off to professional stuff, and maybe you get away from some of this bullshit. But the problem is you're claiming they're student athletes. You don't really hold most of them accountable to actually learn, and you're making billions off of them. So I give two fucks about this agency, and I hope they lose their lawsuit.
Wow. Okay.
I feel the exact same way. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, yes, you better give me something out of this because you're finna run my child in the ground to hopefully have. Yeah, he's highly touted. Different schools want him. Well, you want him here. He's gonna make this money in the back end because we already know he's gonna get drafted. Yeah. But you know what? Give me something because you're gonna get paid off. Like Winston just said, you're gonna make a hell of a lot more money off him than he is off himself if he doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Let's say he plays a year and a half, and unfortunately something happens. He ruptures Achilles. He tears the ACL, MCL. He can't play anymore. You know what I'm saying? You did all this. Now he has to try to look to something else. And if he doesn't know anything, it's one thing. Also, this is what this is about to do. Okay, players can't get gifts to be recruited. You know what's about to happen? There will be no NCAA. Why is that? Because high school players will go to the draft to go to the G League.
Yeah. Well, not only the G League, but Luka. Someone brought up in the thing. I said it. Luka straight up told him, "Y'all don't do that. Just go play in Europe. Like,
or just go play, and you're gonna make a killing in Europe."
I mean, because look at what happened with the Ball Boys. Yeah. Look what happened.
Yep. I like this comment for more pockets. Yeah.
Right. No, exactly. I think that's a great comment. But like, obviously, Luka is from Europe, but look at how developed he actually became from playing over there. So it's not. People can't make the argument, oh, well, it's not as good as if you're getting trained by. Screw that. If you're genuinely going to do this, I sincerely hope that these boys and these girls, like, and on the women's side of stuff too, that they're just like, fuck this, that I'm done. I don't need your shit. I'm going to go into these developmental leagues and get my cheddar because that's the whole thing. Because even baseball, you give them credit. A lot of them, if they're really going to make it to the MLB for the most part, they're not playing college ball. Yeah. They get drafted into the minors and they immediately get a chance to develop up until they're ready to go. So,
well, it's a good point you say that because, like right here, Corey Cameron said Giannis's little brother just said he's going overseas to play. He's not going to college. Yeah, it's smart.
There you go.
If that's what you want to do, that's your training situation. Then it's smart to go that route.
Because
absolutely.
most of them don't see. We keep forgetting this main part too. I think we all have forgotten about this one big thing. most of them do not want to have to go to college.
Yeah.
College is only the conduit to get in the league where they want to go.
True.
Yes, I know we should be preaching it in education, have a backup plan. I am all for that. Again, as a father of an athlete, I get it. But there are many of these kids who are like, yo, I just want to go to the league.
Yeah.
And if all these scouts are looking at me thinking, yo, you can be a draft pick, why not, like you said, go to these developmental leagues? Why am I not doing that? And that's what's about to happen. You're about to have all these athletes forego this whole college thing just to be able to do it because this situation is going to get out of control.
Because the other part of it, too, is I would feel very differently about this if the actual term student athlete was a real thing. It is the case with certain athletics and the way, but we're talking basketball, football, all these cats right here. None of them are necessarily doing that shit genuinely so they can go. Like the ones that do want to kind of go to college and like that's how they make their way. Great, do that. They know they're not good enough to get to the league, but they are good enough to go play D1 ball. That's amazing.
Right.
You should be allowed to do that. But for these cats that clearly are other level athletic talent and are busting their ass and putting their bodies on the line, they should be compensated for it. Because let's be real, this is NCAA is a semi-pro fucking league. So to not pay people to be semi-professional is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, man. I don't disagree with you, bro. I do think this if Prime Sports Marketing got screwed over by Zion in this situation, I think they have every right to try and get some cheddar out of the situation. That being said, though, the hypocrisy of the student athlete needs to end. I couldn't agree with both of you more. They should just come out and pay these players exactly because so much money is being made off the backs of these young men. And the biggest cop-out I've ever heard is, oh, they're getting an education, when no one believes that legitimately. That has been, in my opinion, the white excuse to cover using a lot of young black men and young black women to be successful.
You better tell it, honey.
I'm just saying, in the leagues in basketball, in football, and what have you, this has been the cover. This idea of the convenient, intelligent excuse is always the cover for what they're actually doing, which is using these kids to make money for their universities because they know ain't nobody shelling out $50 million for a softball player. They know where the money is and they know what they want to do. They recruit these kids not always because of grades, mostly because of ability. And if the grades are passable, we've seen so many scandals about taking basket weaving classes to keep those grades up. It's ridiculous. Let's stop the bullshit. Let's stop the lies and the fallacy that they push out there and just start dealing with the actual truth. This is a farm for future professional athletes, and it should be treated as such. So the athletes should have some say in how they are treated and how they are paid for the situation. It's frustrating.
I would follow up with a couple of things. I mean, first, again, if that's the case, a lot of these cats genuinely, their parents, their families are not okay. They're not okay. They don't have the means to be out here surviving. Yeah. So they literally then get into whatever extracurricular amount of trouble and shit like that. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I only believe the student athlete story in 3 cases. And that would be Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jeremy Lin, because both them motherfuckers went to Harvard, and then Larry Fitzgerald, because he done told you a million times.
Make it 4.
Who's number 4?
Vince Carter.
I'll make it 5. Tim Duncan.
There you go. There you go. I was gonna make a joke with Larry Fitzgerald because he's always talking about Arizona Phoenix Online or whatever.
First of all, you're not gonna make no motherfucking jokes about the University of Phoenix Online, okay? I refuse to let that slander take place. I am a Phoenix, goddammit. I worked hard writing them essays every fucking week. You will not disrespect my alma mater. So the fuck
you wrote your own essays? You were doing it wrong. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
But what I mean is that those are the only you're having 2 Harvard grads. Harvard don't fuck around. They don't give a shit whether or not you're going to the league or not. I
agree, Chris.
But the other part, I was just saying, that's the thing. Larry Fitzgerald is one of the few people that he decided to be a spokesman for that, and he genuinely meant that.
Yeah,
he is actually putting in work to try and get his degree after the fact. Right. Where do you see any of these other athletes doing that shit? So let's be real.
Okay, I'm this. Just saying, you just won't disrespect the University of Phoenix, not again in my presence, God damn it.
Secular Monk says this to Corey Cameron. They're having a back and forth in the chat. Where is that extra money going to come from? Probably increased tuition money from the average student/student loans. No, that's not true. They have so much money, these universities, that they're playing around with. They can use that money to pay some of these people.
The grants they get are ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing at the end of the day. Don't try to throw other athletes in, because I'll tell you this, they wouldn't have money for the programs for those other athletes who are coming in playing water polo to be able to survive if it wasn't for the athletes playing NCAA football, NCAA basketball. They wouldn't.
here's the other follow-up to that. You are trying to blame these students that need to be treated with respect as far as they're putting in professional work and professional pay. Why are these schools hiking up all of this tuition so goddamn much? There's no reason for them to do that.
No,
they are getting away with murder by continuously making these loans and shit higher and higher and higher. That's a completely different conversation for another time. But those are apples and oranges. You're completely wrong.
Let's bring up one thing we forget about no matter what. We keep talking about student athletes, right? We talk about money. We talk about how much revenue the student athletes bring in and what they do for the schools.
Right.
Has anybody ever once stopped and paid attention to how much fucking college coaches get paid?
Yeah, good point.
Why are you getting paid 10 mil? 10 mil.
Yeah, someone brought it up here.
To coach the team.
It's a
James
college.
said, they have so much money, my guy. For starters, quit paying Nick Saban and Bill Self all those millions for starters. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You are paying NFL level prices for collegiate coaches. You cannot tell me. You can't tell me that money is there.
I like this. Secular monk go in the bathroom, look in the mirror. You see what you see, slap it. Damn, Corey. Calm it down. No violence. Hold
on. I'm going to start using that to diss somebody, though, because that's actually a really...
Just go in the bathroom. Look in the mirror.
Look in the mirror. What you see?
Slap it. I want to high five you through the camera for that shit. Yes.
That's kind of funny. That's how I know for sure. I mean, you could have told him because his name is Corey
Johnson. Corey Johnson.
That's a black ass name, but that's a black on the playground. The nigga like the dude that got.
I was about to say that's a nigga. That ain't a black dude. That's a nigga that said that.
The dude said buckets.
All right, let's move on to our last one, and don't forget, guys.
Go in the bathroom, look in the mirror. When you see what you see, slap it. Oh shit! That was something somebody's grandmama told you. Somebody's uncle at a barbecue was drinking told you.
God. Secular monk says though, fine, let them get endorsements, but don't increase the cost of going to college for athletics. Actually, absolutely no. Of course. The thing I worry about is giving 17, 18, 19-year-old kids that much money. That's what I worry about. So I think,
but the problem is
you have to be assigned a financial advisor. I think to have a limit to the amount of money. I think that's the route.
The problem with that becomes, you have kids who get drafted. I saw it. I'm not going to acknowledge it. Fuck you with.
Dude, this has been a good show. It's been a good show.
Buckets.
Oh God! I don't even know what I was going to say.
Chris Taylor, that was an MVP joke. Fantastic.
Chris Taylor is now the MVP of this show. I agree.
Yeah, man.
All right, let's move on to our last story.
Let me go Google this real quick.
It's all to the time.
The best part about this that I'm realizing, hella black people apparently watch this show.
Yes, of course I do.
This is the dozens in the comment section, and I fucking love it.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. This is one of my favorite shows we do every week, man, because I never know where it's gonna go, and it's always a lot of fun. And yes, I enjoy that the black element is involved in this show. I love it. All right,
there's a fight song. God damn it! I have found it. Hold on, real quick, Jesus.
No way. You can't play it. We're going to get dinged. You can't play a copyrighted song. We'll get dinged.
Playing. It's called We Can Do It. It's the fight song for the University of Phoenix.
We can do it.
That's so sad. Not even we can win. We can do it, y'all.
Here's what I felt. Listening to that song.
Buckets! She got you buckets! Oh, she got you buckets! She got you buckets!
You shouldn't have looked the fight song up. You should have looked it up. You should have made up a better name. You should have looked up the lyrics and found a line that's better than that. Why would you say we can do it, bro? You just buckets on yourself. Oh, no.
All right. We're running out of time. We got 12 minutes. I got to jump into the last thing, man, because people bitch me out that we don't get to everything we talk about. The UFC, Justin Gaethje over the weekend at UFC 249. By the way, I love it that the first fight at UFC 249, before it even happened, homie tested positive for the coronavirus and two of his boys, and they all got sent home. Like, duh. This is what happens if you're going to have a sporting event during this time. People are going to test positive. How incredibly stupid is this idea? Anyway, Justin Gaethje was there, and he put on one hell of a performance in his fight against Tony Ferguson on Saturday night at UFC 249 in Jacksonville, Florida. Fought all the way into the 5th round. Ferguson was getting, beat up every round, and finally they called it at 3:39 of the final round and a TKO. He won the UFC Interim Lightweight Championship, but then absolutely threw the belt to the side immediately right before he went up to do his commentary with Joe Rogan, who, by the way, was shaking everybody's hands, who just finished sweating and hitting those hands into other people. Rogan, I don't know what you're doing.
Why you listen? Let me tell you something. As a comedian in LA, why are you surprised? Joe Rogan's going to do what Joe Rogan's going to do.
I guess, man. I just think it's
Joe Rogan has a legion of fans, and let me tell you something. He has a legion of fans who follow him more than supporters of the Orange Fuck Muppet follow him. Rogan is going to do shit because they'll say, because if Rogan didn't do it that way, oh, look at Rogan being a bitch. Then he has to end up doing a 4-hour fucking episode of his show talking about it becomes a vicious circle.
It becomes a brand. It's a brand issue at that point, isn't it? Because he's trying to save the face, look tough, look strong, blah, blah, blah. And maybe, Dana White is definitely a big friends with Trump. So maybe there's that order from all the way down, from the top down, is that nobody wears a mask. Nobody wears gloves except the referees.
Also,
I just think it's a big.
Also, real quick,
you're sending a wrong example to kids who are watching it, though. I just think it's stupid.
And also, just to go back to the original point of having the event and then having fighters test, the problem is you can have people do this if they can train in their own circuit. If the people they're training with have all been isolated, if all the precautions are taken place to make sure nobody involved in this circuit that's going to go with you is infected. Cool. Yeah. Right? Fine. The problem is when you have these people who are like, yo, I'm going to do what I want to do regardless. Yeah. Now it's like, you can't do that. And so it's a catch-22 in a sense. I understand we want sports back. Listen, I don't care what people feel about professional wrestling. The entertainment value that these men and women put on is enough to be praised in itself. What they put their bodies through week in and week out, and in some instances before that, nightly. The fact that for as much shit as Vince McMahon gets, as much shit as he gets, they are making sure everyone that comes in that facility is tested, is safe, and is healthy. Because again, you're not just having single men and women come in here. You have our women who are mothers, dudes who are fathers, people that have full families. And I'm not just talking about the wrestlers. This also goes to production. Shout out to my boy Mark Donica who works there. He's in the production element. You know what I'm saying? So I translate that over to UFC. We have to have these things. And of course, I know people like, well, it's not safe. In these instances, when they're taking all the necessary precautions, they're trying to give you some level of normalcy. Some level of it.
I agree. And that's what we worry about here in this situation. But anyway, Ferguson wins. Justin Gaethje wins this thing, threw the belt down like it doesn't matter to him, and immediately said he only wants the real belt. So let me bring that up real quick. What he said. Yeah, he only wants the hard work, man. Hard work since I was 4 years old, each day at a time. I never look past one day, and I want to be better than yesterday. He said Ferguson responded to his loss saying it's been a long effing camp. I'll be real. It's a long camp. Weight cut had nothing to do with it. Justin is just a tough son of a bitch. But at the end of the day, this Gaethje says he wants the real belt, which of course sparked Conor McGregor to go on a Twitter tirade about it today. He demanded to fight Justin Gaethje next. I hope I'm saying that right. He said the fans make the sport on Twitter. He said, watching the other night, I was against going in without them, but it will be my effing pleasure to display the power I possess with zero background noise for them. It's me and Justin next, as Khabib is the biggest bottle fighter in the game. Guarantee it. Basically calling out Khabib because Khabib said he couldn't leave. He was quarantined in Russia or where Kazakhstan, I think is where he's from.
Which is still Russia.
No, right, fair. Justin, there is no danger in a man that hugs legs. We all know. Try and dance around what the real threat is here all you want. I'm going to effing butcher you, your teeth. I'm going to put them on an effing necklace. Speak on my skills as a father. You are effing dead. All right.
Let me tell you something. Conor McGregor is a business, and no matter what, people gonna want to see that fight. People want to see that fight now.
McGregor's responded to what Justin Gaethje said about him in September of last year. He called him a shit human father and husband. You come for the it's tough. You come for that situation. It's tough. Ali Abdelaziz, who is the manager of both Khabib and Justin Gaethje and been the frequent target of McGregor's criticisms, told ESPN, right now is the holy month of Ramadan, so I cannot talk about anyone out of respect for Ramadan. He had a chance to fight Justin in January, and he picked Cowboy Cerrone instead. He picked the easier fight. Now the two kings of the division will fight. Maybe Conor can fight someone in the co-main event. So basically saying that it'll be Khabib who fights Justin Gaethje. It will not be McGregor. So putting his two guys together in a winner-takes-all match. So, and leaving McGregor out. Interesting decision. What do you guys think about this? Did you see the match at all, the fight at all?
I didn't get a chance to. By the time I was trying to go to my my trusted site to watch pay-per-views, I forgot about it.
Trusted site, you say? All right.
My trusted website I go to. I didn't get a chance to see it, but I do think, again, the business, people keep saying, okay, let me say it like this. Everyone is like, yo, we're not everyone. There's a majority of people like, we're not safe. We shouldn't be doing everything. But then there are people who are like, look, we can slowly but surely start doing things with precautions.
Yeah.
This fight is something that needed to happen because it's starting to show you things are starting to move.
Yep.
Now, if you really want to get me interested, let's talk about this Sports Illustrated video that dropped today with Iron Mike Tyson throwing them bows.
That didn't drop today. That dropped a few days ago.
A few days ago, but it's another one that dropped today. It's another one. Yeah, it's one that when he officially says I'm back.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to believe that he's coming back. Don't do that to my heart,
bro.
Don't do that to me because I want to see him fight, and I don't want to be hurt.
He still has it, and he even said himself, and he was in an interview about a month ago, kind of crying about it, where he's like, when Tyson was at his peak, he enjoyed the idea of essentially almost killing someone. Like he was like beating someone within an inch of their life. He's like, it did something to him. He started crying because he was like, I don't know if that person is still in me. Like, I think it is, and I still miss that element. But he's like, I also see how horrible that is. You know what I'm saying? So like, he's having a crisis of conscience, but he still has it. If you've seen these videos, man, oh my God.
Yeah. I tweeted about it. I said, listen.
You said listen?
Oh no. Something started playing on my social media, and I was like, what the hell? Okay. I was tweeting about it. And I'm like, look, it's gonna be some young dudes who go look. Y'all just don't judge me, right? It's gonna be some young dudes. Listen. It's gonna be some young dudes who are gonna start running their mouth, talking about. I hate you so much with it. I hate everything about you. Now that you froze,
we can do it. I didn't froze. I was alive the whole time. We can do it. Hey, we can do it. University of Phoenix can do it. We can do it. We can do it. University can do it.
You can do it. That just ends with Rob Schneider.
You can do it. Anyway,
got one last super.
It's going to be a bunch of young fighters who are going to start talking shit, talking about some. Oh, he old, he can't do it, and Mike going to be like, all right, I need a warm up match, and he going to get one of the fights. Some shorty going to get stupid rich, but be eating funny for the next 6 months after talking all this shit, because like.
Would you take a punch from Tyson for $1 million?
Fuck no. Yes. Yeah.
No.
You know why? Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why. Because no matter what he does, that $1 million can help to repair it.
Not if you're eating out of a tube for the rest of your life.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
A regular heavyweight fighter can take that punch because it's used to it, been doing it, whatever. But Jay, you might get legitimately killed.
Jay, the three of us, he's the only one that I might give him some credit because of the wrestling, but I still don't think that I wouldn't.
True.
I'm gonna tell you something. First of all, sure. I have aunties who are pastors. I will have them send me some blessed oil, and I will put it all over my face. You know what I'm saying? Because I want the Lord to protect my
You better job. Put it on his glove so it slides off your face.
Are you about to go full Hercules Satan in this bitch and just accidentally escape getting killed every 2 seconds and somehow you're the world champ?
Yep. I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna rope a dope the shit out of Mike Tyson. I'm gonna be working up on my forearms. I'm gonna get somebody to get me a Singapore cane and just hit my forearms consistently. He's trolling.
What if he hits you so hard he breaks your forearms? That would be wild.
Oh,
why would you say something like that?
Because it's Mike Tyson. You just, I want $1 million.
All right, Mike, welcome to Blurs in the Hood.
I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do.
Oh my God, he turns into a wavy inflatable arm man.
Becky Lynch. Or made for Bailey. Here's the last super chat here from Justin, from J-Dog, one of our big fans. Becky Lynch with a major announcement on Raw tonight. Is there a chance she's dropping the title due to being pregnant? Do you know anything about this, Jay?
They're announcing her Marvel role, whatever Marvel movie she's going to be in.
Oh, she's going to be in a Marvel movie. Get
she's
that
going
out
to be
of
in
here.
MCU. They're announcing. So it's a big announcement.
It can't be off that Billions performance, can it?
It's Becky Lynch. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so was that Billions performance. It was just Becky Lynch being Becky Lynch.
Well, I think
Jay,
acting going on there.
I mean, John, do you remember what I said earlier in the show? The only reason Michael Jordan got all of that little shine playing baseball
because he's Michael Jordan.
The
true.
only reason.
Yeah, true.
He got
Very
Billions, and now the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the same way that what's her name in Mandalorian, though she actually did really well.
Gina Carano.
And Sasha Banks is in season 2.
Well, there you go.
True.
And so like because Gina Carano, in my opinion, I hated her in Haywire. I thought that all of her fighting was great, but I thought her acting
she was terrible. She was terrible in Deadpool.
Terrible. Right. So hey man, if you were a student recently, maybe you could get drafted, bro. Let's get you on the Bears. You could be the next Spice Adams.
Ooh, rough. Oh, and she's maybe she's She-Hulk. Oh my God.
She could be She-Hulk.
No.
Could be She-Hulk.
No. Oh, Jay just lost it. Jay just lost it conceiving that possibility.
$1 million he can finally pay off his University of Phoenix loans. Yo, why is the audience is the most savage I've ever seen them. This is amazing.
I love it.
Only because it's at me today is why it's amazing. It's amazing now, nigga. When
they know
it's
you can take it. They know you can take it. All right.
You can take a shot from Tyson, man. You can take these jokes.
I think I could beat Mike Tyson. All right.
I didn't say I could beat him. I didn't say no shit like that. I said
you can win, Will. You can win. Oh man, I remember that rap song. That was one of my favorites. All right, thanks everybody for watching this episode of Game Time, this live episode. Always appreciate you all taking the time to watch us. Or if you're listening to us later on a podcast, thank you so much for downloading it. And some of you may want to go back and re-enjoy this episode on your headphones. You can do so at the Outlaw Nation Podcast Network. Every episode on the Outlaw Nation, except for Geek Buddies, is on the podcast feed. So go and subscribe to that as well. Thank you to the two wonderful gentlemen who joined me today. It was a blast. Jay Washington, my man, where can they find you, brother?
It's right down there. Twitter and Instagram. I don't even want to talk no more. Just do those.
Give him some love and give him some support. And over there, the manager of Swag Drip.
I will say this. Please come subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please, I'm trying to get these numbers up. Please come subscribe. JAY Washington 80. Please do. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, Swaggy Blurred. You can follow me on all the socials. That's also my YouTube channel. I've got another project that I'm working on right now. You can check out. But the main thing that you should look at is obviously our Patreons are nice, but we have what Jay was trying to say earlier. We have a major interview coming up with the writers of Harley Quinn. So if you've been enjoying the showrunners and a few of the writers. So if you have been enjoying our reviews, if you haven't checked them out, you should do that. But this is going to be one for the record book. So definitely come out and check us out.
That's
awesome.
It
won't happen tomorrow. I'm just letting you all. It won't happen tomorrow. You'll see it on next week's episode.
That's great because I loved Harley Quinn. That's been one of the most enjoyable things on DC All Access in quite some time. So I've been enjoying them very much, those shows. I mean, they're even more no holds barred than we are on this show. So I love it. Two pieces. That's for damn sure.
Wait till y'all see the new episode. Ooh, boy.
Can't wait.
I'm going to watch that after this is done.
I may have to get some connections from you, Jay, to that DCL access stuff. I want access to that kind of stuff. All right. Thank you all so much. Please, you can follow me at The Rocha Says right there on Twitter and on Instagram. Please subscribe to my Patreon right above me there, patreon.com/John Rocha. See all the multiple tiers. Been doing the Hangouts. We got 4 patron shows coming for you all. Been working on them with a lot of the patrons. So we're going to solidify them to on Wednesday on a final show meeting. And then you're going to start getting them every Friday, a new episode every Friday of those 4 shows. It's going to be a lot of fun. Been doing the 2 Hangouts every week. And I'll start doing some watch-alongs as well and look forward to some debates that are coming down the pike as well. And then you can help me train for Ethan Irwin, who now apparently has Sam Levine in his corner, Rachel Cushing in his corner, Andrew Guy in his corner now. So many incredible people there in his corner. What is this all about? Is this Jordan's 90s?
We can't see it, bro.
Can't see it, man.
It's too blurry.
It's too blurry. It's blurry in the hood there. All right. Thank you so much and please subscribe down below to the Outlaw Nation channel. Get me close to 15,000 subscribers. Want to march to 20,000 as well. All right. Much love to all of you. Thanks again to Jay and Winston. It was a blast today. And you guys made it a big blast today with all your comments and all your jokes. Honestly, one of the best shows we've ever done. I can't thank you enough. We'll talk to you next time on Game Time on the Outlaw Nation channel. Take care until then.